The following podcast features views and opinions that are not representative of the collective views of the Whispers groups. Some of these views may not be suitable for children. Accordingly, the producers and hosts of the Missyae Podcast must insist that no one attempt to take anything that is being said as representative of the views of any of the Whispers groups.
Welcome back to another edition of the Missyae Show, and tonight is our Survivor Memories podcast, and we are headed back to Survivor South Pacific, where we had Redemption Island. We had a couple of people there that dominated, kind of. We're going to get into that. We're going to have a couple of guests on here. I believe one of them is here already. Is that you, Papa Bear?
Yes, I am here.
Hey, how are you doing?
Pretty good. How you guys doing out there?
We're doing good. Doing good. Looking forward to revisiting this season. I know it's both good and bad for you, but I mean, you got to be on the show, but didn't quite get as far as you would have wanted. But it had to be a great, great overall experience, and you've made so many friends and fans. It had to all be worth it.
It was way worth it. You know, I feel anybody who really tries to get on that show, I mean, everybody wants to try to get on the show. The second you actually try to do it, you're part of the Survivor family. No matter, because you think about it this way, 25,000 people try each season. Technically, the second they put the application in, they're playing Survivor, because we're knocking each other out to get on the show, and then those 18 people try to knock each other out to get to the winner. So technically, the 25,000 people, they're playing Survivor from the very beginning and not even knowing it.
Yeah, it was a great cast too. I mean, you had two returning players, and you had Brandon Hance, nephew of Russell. You had Whitney Duncan, who had been on another reality show called Nashville Star, where she made the finals. And you were just talking about the application thing. I've got a little, maybe a little known fact here. For your season for South Pacific, there were approximately 800 applicants.
Wow.
And you were one of 16 selected out of over 800 people. So
it's really funny. I was actually going to be in I think Survivor 22, and I was being considered for Survivor 22, where it was the older guys versus the younger guys. And I always say to myself, oh man, I would have had a way better shot at it at that time. But you fall where you fall, and I was blessed. No, I think it was Survivor 21, Nicaragua. I think that was Survivor 21. And the second I was on the boat, and I was seeing all the young people I was with, and then I was like, oh my God, I am going to be screwed. Yeah. And I was. But there's a lot of things that people don't know. I actually found the clue to the idol. They didn't show it, and I was searching crazy for it, like insane. And I knew I was going to go that night. I was like, oh my God, not now, not so early. But, you know, it is what it is. You fall where you fall. And, you know, I made a lot of good friends, and I got a lot of good opportunities from there. I've been on TV shows. I've been modeling. I've been doing all those crazy stuff that I laughed my butt off. I'm like, I'm an old fat Italian bear that's using me to do these things. But it's fun. It's fun. I'm getting a little, you know, I don't take it too seriously in the sense of like, you know, I'm going to be on a TV show or I'm, you know, acting or whatever thing. I just do it for fun. You know, I'm a retired cop and I'm a nurse as well. And I do other stuff, you know, grandchildren and stuff. And I'll have a lot of fun that way. but to have the experience of actually going out there, it's amazing. It really, they do strip you of every single thing you can imagine, and it brings you to your actual core. It brings you to your actual core. I'm sure you heard people say that. It's like it really. It starts messing with your head. You don't know who's with you, who's against you, and it gets so funny. It's funny. Some of the people that even vote. I mean, I'm pretty much pals with a lot of the people who voted me off. I really am, because I realized it was a game. I realized it was a game as well as they did. You know, like even like Whitney, matter of fact, I text her through Facebook. We talk on Facebook, and of course, if you have Whitney, you have Keith. Everybody knows that, right?
Right.
They're married. Yeah, that was kind of cool. So they're married, so I keep in touch with them. And Jim and Dawn, and everybody knows Christine. Christine's in the next town next to me. I'm very close friends with Christine. Yeah, we chat a lot.
Christine said if she got a chance tonight, if it wasn't too late, she would call in, but she's at a parent-teacher thing right now. So I don't know if she'll make it or not. Albert said he would try to call in later. And Dawn is sending a message. She wanted to do it, but she had already committed to doing 2 hours of the Rob Has a Podcast, and then at night she takes a psychology class. She's working on getting another degree, and it's 2 hours. So she won't be able to join in, but her message to everyone was, I would love to catch up with everyone. Please send my love and kisses, and thank you for the invite. You're always so kind to me. Thank y'all so much, Dawn.
Yeah, I mean, Dawn and McKay, and also McKay. I'm very close with McKay. Throughout the years, I don't talk to her every day, but whenever I reach out to her, she always picks up. She's a wonderful lady. And as of Dawn, oh my God, look at the situation where we were in. The older people in the group. But Dawn is Dawn. I mean, if anyone knows, Dawn is a very sweet lady. It really is.
Right.
Like all the people are. I mean, there's no real monsters there. You know, there weren't. There was just people trying to, win a game. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
You know, there was no real monsters that were evil. I just didn't see it.
Right.
Somebody had to go. Somebody had to go. You gotta force to pick somebody. So it's not like, oh my God, I'm doing it purposely. I don't like that guy. It's not like that. It's just like you get to a point that you have to choose someone, so you choose it. You might be mad at the person for a second, but you're not really mad at the person at all.
Right. Now, when you first get there, and here you see Ozzy and Coach, two returning players. Did you have any preference? Did you think, I think I'd rather play with Ozzy because he's so good with challenges, or I don't know, I might want to play with Coach because he seems a little more loyal?
I think, now I didn't care either way, to be honest with you, from the very beginning, because I was indifferent to them. But once we hit the beach, Ozzy was trying already. He was hook, line, and trying to get you in his alliance, which I didn't.
Right.
You can't really trust him. He goes with the wind. He really does, and it's proven from all his seasons. It's proven from all his seasons. He's not a bad person. Like, again, he offers, like, when he goes fishing and stuff, he shares and stuff. He's not bad in that sense, but he was trying to win the game. I didn't feel close with him, really that close with him. Other than I woke up one day and I thought it was Semhar's hair in my mouth. It was freaking Ozzy's. It was so disgusting. It was so gross. But what are you going to do? You're all on top of each other on a friggin' little thing. But I thought it was Semhar because she had the same kind of hair at the time. I know. I kept in touch with her for a few years, but I think she moved out of the country. And I have tried to reach out to her a few times. She hears this, I'm thinking about you, call us. We all, care about you and stuff.
We used to talk a lot. We were really, really good friends, and like you said, but things changed with her, and now she's just not around
I think
anymore.
She left the country. Yeah, as far as I remember, the last thing I remember was that she was leaving the country to be with her family. So God bless her, and good luck.
Yeah, I did reach out to her. I did reach out to her about this pod, but I didn't hear back. I just don't think she does much social media anymore at all.
She moved on. I personally don't think she deserved to be voted off that day. Honestly, it should have been John Cochran. And look what would have happened if he got voted off first.
Right.
Then, and I didn't even vote for him, okay? But he was such a screw-up with the challenges. He became an awesome challenge person and an awesome winner. So he proved he got his redemption. But honestly, nobody bullied him in my group. I did not see it for the 10 days I was there. I didn't see anyone bullying him. So in the beginning, he was like, people are bullying him. He did not get bullied. As when I was there, I don't know what happened after.
Right.
So to be
what did you think about Redemption Island?
Well, honestly, it was kind of cool because I participated and it was fun. I could have done better. I could have, but it was like, you get to the point that you're going to vote you off anyway. So you're like, oh my God. And you're looking at the people who actually vote you off with like them looking at you. I said, they're going to vote me off again. But I was amazed by Christine. Christine was awesome with her work. She did a great job. I don't understand why they never took her back. Of course, I would have loved to have gone back and tried to redeem myself. But Christine was such a warrior. She's such a warrior. She really is. And I think she deserved, and who else deserved a way better chance too? Both of them. Is Missyae. She is a warrior princess
Yeah,
too.
I know her, and she got mixed up in all of that craziness going on with Brandon.
I know. He's all over the place. I tried to remain friends with him, and it's just no. Mm-mm. I
will say this about him. Anytime I've had talks with him, he was always very respectful. He's always yes sir, no sir, thank you. He always had good manners. But when he got out there, it was crazy.
He's been at my house. He's been in my home. He's been at my home. He came over and everything. I don't know what it is. I just try. Like, he is respectful, and I have nothing against him at all. But I don't know. I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah. Now
I talked to Russell. Russell's I like Russell. I like his gameplay. I like him as a person. He's something else too. But I like Russell. And it's a good thing with Russell is I won't talk to him for like a year, but if I reach out to him, it's like it's like I talked to him yesterday. He's not a bad person, good personality. In the game, he's dangerous. I'd be terrified. As a person. And the whole thing is, I wish Brandon luck. I do. Like, deep down, I hope, he's happy. That's what it is. I hope you're happy.
Now, at what point did you find out that he was a Hans, and he was Russell's nephew?
To tell you the truth, I didn't know while I was in the game. Because I got out on day 10, so I never did them, and I didn't know. I just thought he was a tough kid from the street. When I saw him, I was like, this kid's tough. He looks like he'll kick someone's ass. Because, like, we're all in a place called, Ponderosa when we first get there. So you get to see each other, but you're not allowed to talk to each other. And there's people assigned to you that they watch you to make sure you don't talk to each other. They walk you to the bathroom. They walk you to your tent to go to sleep. Because some Ponderosas are in hotels. We were brutal. They put us in a tent, and it was crazy. No air conditioning. We were starting the game because you're there 5 days early. So technically, I always say I was on Survivor 15 days because it's the first 5 days you want to go cuckoo. because you can't talk to anyone. You can't do anything. You can only stare at each other. And that's when they break you into groups. You're going to know who you are. And let me tell you something. They line you up before they bring you onto the show, and they do a quick search to make sure you're not taking food and stuff. They're really serious in the game. They're not joking.
Right.
There
have been people that have managed to sneak an item or two in. So, I guess they try to watch that as close as they can. But so you're saying that as people were leaving and joining you at Ponderosa, there was still no talk of, did you guys know that was Russell's nephew?
I think when Stacy came, Stacy's a friend too. She's in Texas. She, I think she knew. I'm pretty sure. I don't think she told me. I don't remember her telling me. It's just maybe she did. It wasn't like very important to me, so I just was like, I don't care. I already got voted off. You know, I mean, it was like, okay, fine. It was a kind of a great experience. And if anyone knows about Jeff, and we tell you when he tells you the tribe has spoken, and you hear the music. Obviously, we don't hear the music when we're there, right? But in your head, you can hear the music. You're like, oh shit! I mean, he literally stares in your eyes, to make sure you know that you were voting for. I'm like, then with us, you have to walk into the jungle alone, you're walking I would say 100 feet by yourself into the jungle, voted off, and it's dark and it's creepy, and I'm like, and then I heard somebody go, "Papa Bear, stop," and I was like, "What the frig is this?" And then they took me to Ponderosa. They blindfold you. You don't know. You get into a car, and they bring you a little bit a distance where the other island is, and they drop you off. Like, good luck, bye. I'm like, what the? And also Christine's there, and Christine goes, hello, poor thing. Do you want to hear something funny? Me and Christine slept back to back because I think we were concerned about the animals because we heard animals in the jungle. I was like, it's so real. It was so friggin' real. It's crazy.
Yeah, and of course, you're out there and you're thinking, well, I mean, come on, they're not going to let anything happen to us. But then you get out there with nothing but the clothes on your back, and you start hearing things. It's kind of like, okay, is that an animal? Is that a rat or spiders? What is it?
Poor Jim. Poor Jim Rice. I mean, really was. He was. God forgive me if he's listening to this, but it's hysterical. I didn't laugh at the time. Now I laugh about it, but I didn't laugh at the time. The poor thing gets hit with the coconut from the tree at night. It's like, what the hell is that? It's like a missile, came right down on him. They had to get medics. The medics had to come in, but he was okay, and they didn't film it. But it was. I was like, oh. And Dawn put me on fire. They didn't show that either. Well, I was late. I fell asleep by the campfire, and the poor thing threw I think a log onto the fire or something, and all the flames flew onto me. I don't know if it was Ozzy or I'm not sure if it was Ozzy or somebody else. Like 2 or 3 of them came over and started hitting me, trying to get the fire out. Those things, they don't show those things, but it's crazy. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much footage they have to go through to edit it down to about 42 minutes a week, So, a lot of great stuff gets left on the cutting room floor, but these pods and things like this is we hear a whole lot of new things. The fans hear a whole lot of stuff that they didn't even realize.
Oh yeah. Let me tell you something.
When you were when you were at Ponderosa and you kept seeing these people show up, and yet it's still not Christine. It's still not Christine. It's still not Christine. You probably started kind of pulling for her, didn't you?
Of course. Oh my God! I thought she was going to do well. It's kind of little like you have those little weird stuff that goes on, like the challenge that Ozzy won her. Rumor has it that, I mean, as far as I know, I'm not 100% sure. He did that before. She didn't. You know, as far as I know. So he had, you know what I mean? You understand what I'm trying to say? And also, I'm a little curious about how he found the idol when I found the clue. He found the idol. There's 5,000 trees. How did he find it? You know what I mean? So there's like some strange things that you think about, you know, how things could possibly really be, and you don't really know.
Right.
So it winded up that she winded up in she got voted off finally. Then she came to me, and you know, we became friends. So after it was all said and done, I think I won. You know, I won $1 million just being friends with her. You know, she's a wonderful, wonderful lady. Really good friends. Whenever there's any kind of parties and everything, I call her. She travels with me. We go together.
Yeah, and
how long is it? 11 years. Go ahead.
Another thing is you're at Ponderosa and you keep seeing people show up. You probably to start thinking, is anybody thinking about voting out any of these guys that are still in the game? Because,
I know of course. Like what happens is first you got to forgive because it's weird. I apologize to Semhar because I voted her out, and I also went up to her the night that she was getting voted out, where everybody got pissed at me a little bit because I was like, Semhar, we got to get together here. There's a problem here. And she said that she really appreciated that I was the only person that, you know, treated her well and, you know, told her what was going on. Now, Edna, was it Edna? I forget, the girl. I don't keep in touch with her. She's in Las Vegas. She voted me off. And when she came, she was, oh, they turned on me. And I was like, well, you turned on me. The hell, that stuff happened. That kind of stuff happened. But she's not a bit. Like, I keep in touch with her dad. So I find out she just had a baby. She had a baby. She's happy. And that's all I care about. I only care about, you know, at the end of each story of Survivor in your group, are you happy? At the end, because money in real life doesn't make you happy. Yes, it helps, but it doesn't make you happy. Personal relationships at the very core of us is really what makes you happy. So
now, I'm curious. I'm always curious about this. Where was your pre-jury trip? Where did you guys go?
We were in Fiji. We went to Fiji because it's really weird. Now they play in Fiji. We went to Fiji. They were playing in South Pacific. There's, you know, I was in South Pacific Samoa. There's an American Samoa as well, but we went to South Pacific in Samoa, South Pacific Samoa. So we took a short plane trip to Fiji Island, and we had fun. We did. It was fun. It was like an open book. It was an open credit card. You could do anything you want. So we went to like manicures, pedicures, massages, you know, trips. It was fun.
Yeah. Now, who was your quote unquote handler? You know, that went with you back then.
We had a well, you know, Caitlin Moore. She was the one that stayed on the. She stayed on the island. She's became a big casting agent now in Survivor, as far as I remember. She is a doll. She played Ruby 500, the card game, or whatever the hell it was. Me and her were playing all the time. She is a sweetheart, Jen. At that time, she was just, you know, learning, you know, climbing up the ladder. But as far as I know now, she's all the way on the top, so she's good. There was a guy, oh God, I forgot his name. He's in Philadelphia now. He's not part of it anymore. And I had a woman, I totally forget her name. God, she's going to kill me. She lives in San Francisco, and she travels and stuff. Oh, God, I got to look her name. I totally forgot her name. She still does it as far as I know. And you know Jody, too, right? You know Jody?
Yeah, I was going to ask you if Jody was there.
Jody was just coming off her games. So she, of Amazing Race, she was part of the casting in California. When they drop you from 48 people to 18. That's when it gets brutal. Like in my casting with Jim Rice, it was Kim. You know Kim who won Survivor? She was in my casting, and Colton, what's his name? Colton. He was in my casting. Colton sat next to me in the van, and him and Jim were on the same seat. So that's when they start splitting. Some of the people went on to Survivor 24. Some of the people went home. They didn't take them. And then some of us went to Survivor 23. So they were casting for 23, 24, and then some people didn't make it. But Kim
I remember talking to Colton about the whole casting thing, and he said he made it almost all the way to the end, and then he got told he was cut, but they told him to wait by the phone because they were probably going to bring him back another season. And Colton said he went home thinking, yeah, sure, right. But they did call him back, so.
But he got in Survivor 24. So how did he get Survivor 24? They just called him?
Yeah. They already knew him. And, it happens sometimes. I've talked to players that were that made finals, and for one reason or another, they didn't fit in with the theme or who they already had, and they'll tell you, don't give up because we really like you, but it's just not going to work out this season. And more times than not, you don't get that call again. But Colton did. They did call him back.
Well, I was making the semifinals to 21 in Nicaragua. I mean, really getting close. I was supposed to go to California, and then I saw when I saw the people that were on the show, I said, that's why you could tell why you got voted off. Not chosen. And then when Survivor 23 came and I went to California, I made it's how you present yourself. You have to be really quick and fast. And when they bring you into the room, they're asking you, how you're sticking out. So I was already had my thoughts on what I was going to say and blah, blah, blah. And you got to make them laugh. You got to make them, understand who you are. And everybody in California, there was it looked like 5 of every person. I saw 5 guys that looked like me. I was like, holy crap. And then after I saw the first casting and then I saw the second one, I was the only one left. They were sending them home. So I was like, wow. I know. Yeah, so then when I finally went home, I didn't know, blah, blah, blah. And then when they voted when Rob won Survivor, I think it was Rob, right? He won Survivor. My phone rang at night. It was like about 9 o'clock at night. I saw a message, please call us. I said, oh, my God. So I call, and they go, Mark, you got to pack up. You're coming to Survivor tomorrow or the next day. It was like, quick. I went, holy I went, oh, my God. And my family was like, what happened? I said, I'm going to Survivor. And they were like, what? So it was weird. So let me tell you something, even if I made it only one day on that island, in my heart, I made it. So I said to myself, I had a good experience.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Exactly. After you saw the breakdown of the 2 different tribes, how did you assess your chances with your tribe? Did you think you had stronger males or females, or
no? I just feel like it was young versus old. The young guys bonded immediately. All the young people bonded immediately. I was like, oh my God. You could tell right off the bat. And then, I learned something too. I didn't move fast enough to bond with people quick enough. I thought I bonded with Jim, and I started bonding. I tried to bond with different people. It just didn't work fast enough. So I think if I was with an older group, it would have been easier. I think so. But, now how I feel is, now it's somebody else's turn. Everybody gets a turn.
Well, the old saying goes, it is what it is.
Who's that?
Yeah. That's Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
Hi.
Yeah, so that's exactly true. It is what it is. So.
Yeah, when it first started, it was kind of a back and forth thing between the two tribes. Nobody could really get the upper hand.
No, that's what
one tribe would win, then the next one would win. It was, and then of course, Upolu went on a run and really got the numbers down. And
well, that was the whole thing with Ozzy. They were supposed to send John Cochran to Redemption Island, but they feel that if they voted, because Ozzy got voted out, I think 3 times in that game. If they voted him out, if they voted, Ozzy knew he was going out. That day was a plan that to take Christine out, so they would have the upper hand on the tribe. No one knew that John was going to eventually turn on them. You know what I mean? They said, they saved his butt. I mean, if you saw Whitney, she told him flat out, we saved you 3 times, and you did this to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you have to be that way. You have to have that gift, I guess, to actually win the game, to be able to just cut people off. I would have waited to the end, but you know what? He won his game, so John knows what he's doing. So.
Yeah, on this particular season, though, it was probably a mistake because when he did that, he flipped to where he was pretty much at the bottom and at coach's discretion as to how long he was going to stay. So
that was an issue, and the whole thing though, but that allowed him the opportunity to come back because they liked that. They liked that he voted his whole tribe off or hurt his whole tribe because they're not going to invite you back on the island. They're not going to invite you back if you're just like la 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 la. They want to see that you did something, and he did. He didn't give a crap about anybody else, and he voted everybody out. So that's why I don't really believe that whole bull crap of bullying. I don't believe it. I think that was a setup,
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
You have to consider. You still have to always consider it's a TV show, and they're gonna edit it and make it, interesting. And I think he was sort of edited as the little underdog, and so that narrative fits in. If he's the little underdog and kind of the quote unquote nerd.
He was, though, in the very beginning, he really was. But he's not unlikable. He's not unlikable. He really isn't. Very intelligent, very smart man, and really not a bad person. I mean, of course, the not voting, voting people off, let alone me. But, it's what are you going to do? It's, and he's smart. He won his season. I give him credit. And, I really don't think about him, to be honest with you. I just don't.
Yeah.
He's
actually a funny guy. He's really funny. He's a really funny guy. Go ahead.
What I always found amazing about John Cochran is him and Sari went from being almost the first one voted out to becoming 2 of the GOATs of Survivor.
True, but he also won. He actually knew how to win.
No, GOAT. I mean GOAT as in greatest of all time.
Oh, okay. I thought you said GOAT. She should win. She should have won a few seasons. She is that smart. She is that lovable, and she is a wonderful, wonderful person. I met her. I became friends with her. I mean, I text her once in a blue moon. We talk to her, been at parties with her. She is that smart and that nice. She should have won. They should bring her back. She really should. She knows how to play the game.
Well, they've always had an idea on the table. I think they're kind of holding it till they think it's the last season. Called Legend, and she would definitely probably be in that cast if they don't wait too late to do it when she just can't physically get out there and do it anymore. But I'm sure her name is on that list, even though she hasn't won. And so if you call it Legends, like they did last season, winners. If you call it Legends, you can bring back anybody. You don't have to bring back winners. You can bring back some of the, the best cast ever.
Let me tell you something. Sandra and Tony, they are two likable people. You can really understand how they were able to pull everybody in. They really are likable winners. They did what they had to do. It's like a job. They did what they had to do to win. And I have a lot of respect for both of them. Especially even Sandra. I got to know her even more on a personal level. She's a nice, good-hearted woman. Amazing gift of a lady, Well, guys, I don't want to be rude or anything, but I'm going to have to cut it down and move on. I'm here in the New York area, and it's like almost 20 to 10 at night. So I want to say thank you so much for inviting me, all of you. And please give me a call. Keep me in your thoughts and prayers. I will keep you in your thoughts and prayers. Please safe out there. And just be happy. Nice to meet you. Just be happy. That's all I'm saying. All right, guys. Take care.
All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Papa Bear.
Nice to hear you, Mark.
Nice to hear you. And thank you so much for inviting me. I really loved it.
And God bless.
And God bless. Bye, guys.
Thanks for joining us, Papa Bear. Goodbye.
Well, that was nice. That's the first time I've ever had him on a podcast. We're still waiting on Coach to show up. I texted him the number, so but he, Papa Bear brought up a few things that we didn't know too. I mean, it's like we learn something every week.
Well, it's kind of like, of course, what they say, when you assume, you make an ass of you and me. But I always assumed that the city where they were at for their Ponderosa or Sequester or whatever you want to call it was in the same country that it was aired or filmed, I should say.
Well, it is, but once the jury starts, they take the pre-jury and send them on a trip somewhere else. They don't mix the jury with the pre-jury. So once the jury starts, the pre-jury folks go on a vacation, a trip somewhere. That's where we're talking about. He said they sent them to Fiji. And then the jury starts, and they take over Ponderosa.
Yeah, one question I wish I could have asked him was if he was on the jury, who he would have voted for.
That'd probably be a good question. Of course, we're just speculating, but I would have bet he would have voted for Sophie. It's just a guess, speculation.
Yeah.
Let me run down the list and let everybody know who all is here. Steve's here, Melissa's here, JB's here, Teresa's here, and Kansas is here, and Tim is out in the chat.
Hello.
Hey, Kansas.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Awesome.
Doing pretty good.
That's good.
Doing pretty good.
Yeah,
now Melissa just dropped, but I'm sure she'll be back.
Well, at least I'm not calling from a hotel lobby this time.
Dawn just messaged me. Dawn just messaged me again and said thanks for giving her message, and she's sneaking on her phone because she's sitting in class right now.
Jim, I came on late. Who was speaking? I wasn't sure which survivor
Papa
that was.
Bear.
That was Papa Bear, Anthony Caruso.
Okay.
I think they called him Mark on the show, but he told everybody just to call him Papa Bear. It was his nickname.
Yeah. Yeah, they called him. Well, he went by Mark on the all of the press stuff that they ended up doing.
Yeah.
But just,
his name is either Anthony Mark or Mark Anthony. I'm not sure. And he just sent me a message saying thank you so much. He enjoyed it. So.
Jim, you know
it's
really
enjoyable to listen
to
them and hear their inside stories. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, I thought about applying for Survivor before, but there's two reasons why I can't. One, because of my surgery, I have to have minimum 60 grams of protein a day. And two, I always have to fast forward when it comes to them killing the chickens.
Well, I did mention a little known fact about this particular season, and it kind of made him go, wow, because, he was one of 16 people picked, but they had over 800 applicants for this particular season.
Holy crap.
Over 800, and he was one of the 16 that got selected. So that's an achievement in itself. And that's kind of what he was saying. You feel like you've already won when you get out there because you're actually getting to play. You're actually out there. Whether you leave first or you win, it's a victory because you got on the show.
Shoot, if I was to get on there, I'd be like, shoot, worst case scenario, I get a 36-day vacation.
You know what surprised me, though, Jim, is the fact that what surprised me was the fact that they, before they even went on the season, he said that they literally had them intense before we even began filming.
I guess that's just where they housed them until it was time to film. I know everybody says it's 39 days. It's more than that. They get there about a week ahead because they take classes. They get instructions about what to watch out for out here, like if there's rats or what you might see, what not to eat. They go over. It's almost a week. It's almost a week before they get started.
That just really surprised me though, because nobody had out of all the guests that we've had on the show or on these podcasts, they've never brought up something like that. So when Papa Bear said that, I'm like, whoa, seriously?
Yeah, now I know I don't know if they still do it, but I know when they go to tribal council, when they arrive, they're all kept in a little tent and they're told not to talk to each other until it's time for them to enter, tribal council. It's in a little tent. And I've had some players tell me, they don't let you talk to each other, but there sure is a lot of eye contact being made in that tent before you go into tribal. In fact, Shannon Elkins told me, because he thought he had Chase Rice on board with voting out Brenda, and Shannon told me that when they was in that tent, he just kept looking at Brenda, and he kept looking at Chase, and they kept looking at each other. He said, I knew I was dead. I knew I was gone.
So, all right, Coach, it's time to call in now.
Now, which season of Survivor? Because I know this was a thorn in Matt's side when he was here, when he was on the podcast, about the one who, about when they're recruited versus when they apply. And it was like one season where almost all of the cast were recruited. I'm trying to remember. In fact, it was one that the girl, her name was Melissa something, was quit the game before it even started.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Gosh, what is her name? Yeah,
I can't think of her name either.
I mean, I can see her face, but I can't remember her name. Yeah, she quit the day before filming started. But you know, they have alternates. You know, they always have a couple of alternates. So that just opened the door for somebody else. But I can't remember. I don't know. It seemed like her last name was DeBerry or something like that. I don't know.
I could probably look on Survivor Wiki.
Yeah.
Melissa McNulty.
McNulty. Yeah. I think I'm friends with her on Facebook. I think. But this particular season, I mean, basically it should have been renamed from Redemption Island to Ozzy Island.
Yeah, I think that was the only season where I did not like Ozzy. I thought he was kind of a jerk.
It was, yeah, and I think some of the cast out there that particular season didn't care a whole lot about him and didn't trust him a whole lot. And it's kind of like Papa Bear. Papa Bear talked about that. He basically said Ozzy's, he's always in the wind. You never know, what he's going to do because, he changes up so often. He don't stick with nothing. So, and that kind of was the difference. I mean, of course, he's a challenge demon, but it's a game, where you have to have somebody you trust. And on the other side with Coach, he did surround himself with 3 or 4 people that they always trusted him and they always stuck together. And I think all three of the final 3 came from that tribe, didn't they, Steve?
I believe, yeah. All 3,
yes,
not just from that tribe, but they also came from the Family Alliance, as they called themselves. So, yeah, it was Coach, Sophie, and Albert. All 3 were from not just the Family Alliance, but the original Upolu tribe.
What do you guys think? What do you think if Ozzy would have won that last challenge and either Coach, Sophie, or Albert have to leave? Do you guys think with all the winning of the challenges, Ozzy would have won the game? Or do you think it would have been, nah, you had 3 chances, dude?
I mean, it's hard to tell.
It's hard to say, really. Yeah.
Because keep in mind the jury was kind of stacked with Savai members. However, hang on, I need to look at the composition of the jury again. We had
the final vote was 6-3.
We had six Savai members and 3 Upolu members. Yeah, so assuming Ozzy ended up going, it would have been a 5-4 vote, basically, probably. If they were going to stick down tribe lines, it would have been a 5-4 vote. So I don't know. I seem to think with how much Savai bonded over the season, I guess like maybe the one vote he may not get would be Cochran, that because of how he treated Cochran throughout their entire time on Savai. Maybe perhaps it would depend on who was sitting next to Ozzy and how the jury saw whoever was sitting next to him. Like if it was, say, Coach and Albert was completely trashed by the jury to begin with. So he was, in any scenario, he was probably getting no vote. Coach?
All right, well, I've got a little surprise for you. Coach said give him a few more minutes because he's talking to Albert, and he's going to get Albert on, too.
All right.
And as I say that, welcome aboard, Coach Wade, and I know how much they made you mad out there during this season calling you Benjamin, so nobody call him that tonight. Everybody call him Coach.
I love it. You guys better call me Coach.
I'm always calling you Coach. In all the years we've known each other, I probably haven't called you by your name one time. It's always Coach.
No, my friends do not call me by my name. You know, especially at that point in time, you know, NCAA soccer coach, even my parents would jokingly call me Coach Wade. And so, you know, everybody was doing it at the time. And it's just, you know, it's a moniker that I worked hard to brand out of the game long before Survivor. And so, you know, obviously if people, you know, that's a respect. If somebody said, you know, hey, my name's Tyson, call me Tice. And you said, well, I'm going to call you, you know, something besides that. That's just disrespect. We always want to call people by by what they want to be called, right?
Right, exactly.
Coach, this is Teresa, by the way. We've kind of talked off and on Facebook, but I just want to say that when Jim told me you were going to be on here, I'm like, okay, I'll wait till tomorrow to watch Grey's Anatomy.
Wow. I'm rating higher than Grey's Anatomy. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. See, Coach, your ratings are higher than Grey's Anatomy on here. I think we've also added Albert. Is that you, Albert? Or maybe not. Area code 415. You're on the air.
How quick they forget.
Okay, give me a guess. Give me a hint.
It's Eddie, Jim.
Oh, hey, Eddie, how are you doing?
I was asleep, but I'd had it down, but I fell asleep. I'd worked real hard today, and I went, oh, my God, I wanted to get on here. Coach is going to be on.
Yeah, and you missed Papa Bear. You missed Papa Bear. He was on here for the first 30, 45 minutes, and I'll tell you, Coach, Papa, he didn't have anything bad to say about you at all. Nothing. Coach, when you get out there and you see, okay, they brought Ozzy back too. Did you think you had your work cut out for you, or did you think maybe you guys could work some magic and play together before the end of the season was over?
So I saw him actually in the airport, and I saw him as we were leaving to go down there. We flew separate than the rest of the cast, and so when I saw him in the airport, actually my handler was like, "Hey, did you see him?" And I was like, "No, I missed him," because I was asking, "Who am I playing against?" They were like, "We can't say," and I said, "Well, it's got to be Philip, because they want two crazy people coming out there, and for the ratings." And Philip had just gotten on, and he had some traction, and everybody called him a four-man coach. And so I was ready to play for Philip. That's what I was geared up to play with. And when I saw Ozzy, it just didn't compute. And I actually said, "No, what's Ozzy doing here?" And they said, that's who they selected. Behind the scenes story, they asked Philip. He was not ready to go out and play again. And so he turned them down, and last minute, who could they find? An unemployed waiter, would have to suffice on a week's notice. Because I think Philip kind of bandied back and forth with them for a while. And then, they finally were like, "We got to find somebody. It's a week away." And I'm sure that they thought about, well, we could always just, do something else and have two people that are alternates come in and fill those two spots. If they had done that, I would have told them to piss off, and I would have never gone back. And they're on my last nerve anyway, usually. So I've turned them down several times, and when they call me, I usually don't pick up, and I let them wait, a little bit. Just I don't want. Most people are just like, the phone. Is it Survivor? I'll never forget. This is a really funny story. I call Rupert one day, and I've got a phone number from Southern California back when I was doing some Z-list acting, and my agent said, "Keep this number because it's an LA number. People want, to know that you're local." So I called Rupert one day, and I like Rupert. We get along fine. And he picks up. I called him from my Missouri number a number of times, and he's not good with social media. He's not good with the phone, and he never would pick up. Well, I called him from this LA number, and he picked up on the first ring. He's like, "Hello, hello." And I was like, "Hey, Rupert, what's up, man? It's Phil." He's like, "Oh." I was like, "What's up, man?" I literally had just gone back and done his fundraiser the year before. And I said, "That's not the kind of welcome I was looking for." And he's like, "Oh, I thought you were from casting. You called from an LA number." He's like, "I got to go. I'm actually busy right now." And I was just like, okay, that's the mentality of a lot of survivors, where they just sit around and wait for the phone to call to jump at the chance to get back on the show. That's not me. As you know, many people have said, when are you going back on? I don't know if I'm ever going to go back on. But if I do, it's got to be, a really special season. I'm not trying to sound like I'm big time in anybody, but that's just my MO. Anyway, in answer to your original question, I was very disappointed when I saw that it was Ozzy. What did I think? He's a better challenge competitor than me. He's better looking than me. He's not crazy and eccentric. So I'm out. I'm gone. I literally thought, wow, I'm going back home, and can I convince them at Ponderosa to send me back to my real life instead of, going to Australia or whatever for a couple of months and waiting until the show is over with. Those are my first thoughts.
Yeah, Papa Bear said they sent them to Fiji on their pre-jury trip. But Papa Bear brought up an interesting point, because I asked him, I said, when you saw Ozzy and you saw Coach, did you have any preference? Because you got Ozzy's a challenge beast, and you have Coach seems to be more of a loyal player. And he said he really didn't have any priority when it started, but he said after playing with Ozzy, he basically said he's just kind of out there in the wind. He changes up every day. He might be with this person one day, that person on another day. So he kind of sounded like he would have wanted to play with somebody more loyal than what he considered Ozzy to be. Right.
I don't think anybody. When we got to the merge, everybody just said how much they really disliked Ozzy. You can talk to Ozzy. Look, Ozzy and I made peace, so I'm not here to, I'm not here to badmouth Ozzy. But people, if you spend a day with Ozzy, you will know everything about Ozzy, and he will know nothing about you. In the art of conversation, rule number one: you ask people more questions than they ask you. And so, he was very much, you know, he was very narcissistic. And so when we got to the merge, everybody's like, we can't stand him. You know, and if it hadn't been Redemption Island, as you know, obviously, you know, that would have been, you know, a completely different outcome.
I just told everybody they should have just renamed it Ozzy Island. You know, because Christine wins her 5, and then Ozzy takes over, and that's basically kind of I guess it's a good twist, but when you have to vote somebody out 3 times, it kind of leaves a bad taste in the fans' mouths. You know, we got to get rid of you 3 times. So, and let me also say, we've got Coach on here. Sophie won't be here, but we have another of the final 3. Albert is on the line with us.
What's going on, guys? Happy to be
Hi,
on.
Albert.
How you doing, Albert?
Hey, Albert.
What's up, guys? How we doing? This is fun. Coach, what's up, my man?
Doing good. Doing good. Are you first thing? How's the poker going?
It's going pretty well, guys. We have a fun group here. I live in South Florida. We have a fun group that plays us on like invite-only private games in the casinos here, and it's been a nice distraction from what's going on in the world the last year. So it's a lot of fun. I try not to take myself too seriously as a poker player. I think I took myself a little too seriously as a Survivor player way back when, and you know, I came to learn that games are a lot more fun when you don't take yourself too seriously. You know.
Yeah. Now, we were just talking about this earlier too. I mean, we get down. I mean, our final 3 all came from the Upolu tribe. Y'all stuck it out to the end. Now, there were a couple of bumps along the way, but Coach and Albert, did you guys feel pretty confident that you guys could get there with what you were doing and who you were working with?
Well, I'll just to kind of piggyback when you asked about poker, you know, I think Survivor's a lot like poker where there's a lot of skill, but there's also some luck involved. And I got to tell you, one of the things I got the luckiest was I got put on a tribe with this other gentleman who's on this call with me, Mr. Wade, who him and I clicked pretty early on in the game. I got put on a tribe with some people that I kind of, you know, didn't mind being around. So I think it was kind of an organic connection for us to get far in the game for a few of us, a select few of us. And, you know, it's hard because sometimes you get put on an island and you might be with somebody who you literally can't stand, and you're just sitting there in close quarters. So I was pretty lucky to be around some people I actually didn't mind being around.
Yeah, what about you,
I would say on top of that,
you kind of took a little heat. You kind of took a little heat at the final tribal from jury members saying, well, you know, you speak all this loyalty and honesty and trust and stuff, but you really didn't play that way. What did you feel at that final tribal? What was the vibe you were getting from the jury?
Is that to me or Coach there? You want that one from me?
That's the Coach.
I can take that one.
That's the Coach.
Oh, Coach. Yeah, Coach. That's the Coach one. All right, take it away, Coacher.
I'm literally giving my kids a bath and getting everybody dinner, and so I had to step away for 1 second. You know, just repeat just the cliff notes of that question again.
Oh, the question was when you're sitting at final tribal, and the jury was kind of hammering you a little bit because you preached the loyalty, the honesty, but they said that's not how you played. What kind of vibe were you getting from the jury? Were you thinking, boy, this is going to be tough, and either Sophie or Albert's going to win this thing?
No, absolutely not. I mean, here's the thing. I'm going to set it straight, right? I mean, Ozzy's a known porn star right now, and there's nothing wrong with that profession. But, you know, you can see honor and integrity has been thrown out the window when you post on social media, hey, if anybody wants to join me for a threesome this weekend,
there it is.
DM. So, I mean, I say this, right? I'm coming into Final Tribal. You know, Albert, number one player I've ever played with, 100%. If you ask me who the most underrated player is on Survivor, Albert. If I had not been on his tribe, I would not have made it to the end. We would not have made the alliance that we made. We would not have sharpened each other. They had a better drive than us. I'm an old man. Rick was worthless in challenges. Edna can't, bench press 5 pounds. And yet we go to the numbers, to the merge numbers up because Albert and I worked as a great team, and Sophie was a great competitor. But that's all we had, and they had a better drive than us on paper. But we ran that game from start to finish. We get to the end, it's between Albert and I, 100%. If you sequester the jury and nobody gets voted off, goes to Redemption Island, Ozzy catches them a fish, grills the fish for them, gives them a mango, and says, hey, I hate to beat you tomorrow, but, that's it. So when he gets voted off, he literally carries the most clout in the game. My friends were calling me, 5 episodes before the end saying, hey, congratulations, you won. I'm like, what gives you that impression? I thought I might have won. And they said, well, everybody's saying on Ponderosa, Keith, Whitney, everybody's talking on Ponderosa that you got the game won and they're going to vote for you. So when they voted Ozzy off, he was so toxic. And we got at the end of Tribal. It was between Albert and I, hands down, if Ozzy wouldn't have been there. Sophie checked out of the game for 2 weeks. As much as we love Sophie and she's a deserving winner, she checked out of the game for 2 weeks. She sobbed on the beach every day. That's why Ozzy called her a pretentious bitch. But at the final Tribal, Ozzy wanted a pound of flesh. He's narcissistic, so obviously he wants to, show everybody that he's better than me. And so when he first stood up, he said, Albert, you're a complete non-factor. And when he said that, I was like, wait. I was like, what? And he said, Albert, you don't even, something like, you don't even matter up there. I have not watched that Tribal. I've not watched that season since it aired. But he said something to Albert, like dismissed him. And I'm like, what? And unfortunately, I was not in the mindset. And I had a bunch of champagne that morning. This is not an excuse, but I'm not a day drinker. If I have a drop of alcohol, I can drink 25 glasses of small batch bourbon in the evening and not be affected. If I have one drink during the day, I felt like crap at Tribal. I felt sluggish. My mind wasn't working right. And I should have just stood up, told him to sit the F down. And, he's sitting out there as a complete loser. And we should have laid the hammer on him. Albert and I could have very easily gained up and done that, but we were not ready for it. It was out of the blue. And I'm like, what are you talking about? In my mind, I'm thinking, Albert, he's my number one. He's the reason why we are here. He's the reason why we were numbers up. I nicknamed him G-Dub for game winner because when it came time in the challenges, he was like we were on his back riding him into the victory circle. And so It just was out of left field. I did not understand where it came from. And you didn't see the worst, you didn't see half of it. Ozzy sitting there saying, Coach, you're basically you're absolutely worthless. You say honor and integrity. You don't, say honor and integrity. Answer this question without using those words. And so my response to him was, all right, Ozzy, I'm going to answer this question, and I'm going to try very hard not to use the words honor and integrity. He blows up, looks at the jury, says, you see what a fool this guy is? You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it, could you, Coach? And he starts mocking me. And at that point, man, I literally, I froze. I could have done a better job. But it was brutal. The next day, I was sitting on the beach with a psychiatrist. Never seen a shrink in my life, and she comes and sits next to me. She's like, "How you doing?" And I said, "I'm all right." And then I just start crying. I'd start weeping, and she's just sitting there, just being with me. And when I was done, I said, I didn't understand last night. I gave my heart and soul to these people. I did not lie to them. When somebody asked if they were getting voted out, I told them they were. And I don't understand where the vehemence came from last night. And she said, it looked to me, I've never seen a tribal council quite like this. It looked to me as if everybody's failure on the jury was put on your shoulders like Solomon in the temple when he was trying to hold up the pillars. Of course, that made me lose it again. And I will say this. My wife tells me that I will never win a game of Survivor. And I'll say the same thing for Albert. You want to know why? Because we're too put together. We've got our shit together in real life. We have our shit together inside who we are. And a lot of winners do not have that. And so, I don't need that W in Survivor to validate me. And I guarantee you that every single winner that's been on needs that W to validate them in some form or fashion. Look at Sandra. There's not a day goes by that she says, hey, I'm going to your town. Why don't you buy me dinner and I will talk to you. I'm a 2-time winner. I am the queen. That is literally her identity. Right. And Albert and I don't need that. So we weren't going to win $1 million no matter who would have been up there.
Well,
you're right.
I've told Jim before that it was a good thing that Sandra did not win Winners at War because this universe is not big enough for her head if she was to win a third time.
That's for sure.
Oh, man.
That's for sure. Anyway, I want you to ask Albert a question because he has the insight
I want to ask Albert about that final tribal. When you got
well, Jim, before I don't know if you heard that.
With what coach just said that Ozzy said, were you thinking, dude, your ego got voted out 3 times and you gonna trash me?
Well, to call a spade, in traditional Ozzy form, he was the first juror to speak, gave a long diatribe about, obviously, his favorite topic himself, and what Survivor meant to him. And I'll be honest, guys, he put me on my heels a little bit when he said, hey, the jury isn't considering you. I took his words as a reflection of what the jury felt, as opposed to understanding that's a reflection of Ozzy. And listen, at the end of the day, even if I didn't win, like what Coach said is a fantastic point. I didn't need to win Survivor to validate myself, but it was a matter of presenting myself in a way that I could live with. Hey, I played my best game. I put out everything on the line, and I got to explain to you guys, the fans at home, hey, here's the game that I played. Here's the game that we played collaboratively. Here's the game that really went down in Survivor South Pacific. And I felt like Ozzy took, the wind out of my sails from giving you guys a chance to hear that, because there was some really good stuff. And I got to tell you guys, I'm sure, you guys obviously follow the game very closely. I love the new juror format. I think the new final tribal format, where it's more of an open discussion, more of like a town hall meeting, as opposed to each juror gets to ask, sometimes one person, 2 people, or nobody a question. I think that's a much worse format, and that's what we had to deal with, because not only does it give the viewers less of a chance to understand what really happened in the game, because remember, we see a very small sliver of what's really going on the island. You take 72 hours and you turn it into 42 minutes of an episode a week, you're going to miss a lot of time, right? So, the open format today, when the jurors can interject, go back and forth, I think it just gives everybody a more concrete and solid idea of what really happened. Because I got to tell you, being somebody that was in that hot seat, I felt like most tribal councils last, an hour and a half. We see about, 5-7 minutes on TV. That tribal felt like it went by in a flash. Like literally, I was like, oh my God, this is over? I didn't even get to say anything. And there was so much that I felt like I left to say. I'm like, it can't be over, right? We're making a decision for $1 million. Surely there's going to be more chance for us to speak, not yes or no questions from Brandon Hans or, Ozzy giving a self-promoting speech. But unfortunately, that's what we dealt with. And for me, it was tough. Like Coach said, it was tough at the time. But, honestly, I learned a lot from it, man. It made me a better person. It made me deal better with adversity in my real life. And I think I came out of Survivor a much more complete and well-rounded human being, and I'm appreciative for that.
And it didn't help when Ozzy.
I think both of you post Survivor days have done well, and there's a lot of them that just sit around and wait by that phone every day. Yeah, you gonna call me back? But you guys, you've moved on. If they call, they call. If they don't, they don't.
Yeah, that's it. You're right. And some people's identity is unfortunately get tied to the experience that we have. Listen, I got to tell you, I don't want to downplay Survivor. It's an unbelievably surreal and multi-level. I think it's the greatest game in the world when you consider the stakes, the stage, everything, the different levels to the game. I love the game, and I think it's amazing. But I think the difference for me was I love the game of Survivor the most, and some people some of the players like the idea of the fame and the showy and the, being in front of the big crowd. For me, what I loved about Survivor was playing the game. I would play it if there was no cameras on. The money helps, don't get me wrong. I'd rather play for a couple of bucks. But I'm just telling you, I wasn't there to play up stuff for the camera. That part's just enjoyable. That's who you are. But I love the actual game of Survivor. And, Stephen Fishbach sent me a message once when I was on my season, and I was having trouble because I didn't get the biggest, flashiest edit. And Steven sent me something I always thought was really interesting, where he told me, you got to understand there's two different things. There's the game of Survivor you play out there, and there's the television show of Survivor that people watch. And the way things are edited, the way people are presented is part of a narrative, whereas your experience when your boots are on the ground is completely different. And that's, to me, that's why I really think it's special, Jim, and that's why I always cherish, is being one of the few people that got a chance to play that unbelievable game,
Exactly. All right, Coach, let me ask you about your and then I'll see what Albert has to say about his relationship. What about your weird relationship with Brandon Hance out there?
Okay, I'll answer this question, and then I got to go because my kids are in the bath, and I got to pay attention to them. And by the way, I just want to say to Albert, right? I mean, thanks for coming on. I love this man, and like I said, 100%. If he asked me to do something, anything in life, I would say 100%. Whatever he needs, I would give him, because it's that type of relationship. Anyway, so Brandon Hance, you can now see the magic. Sophie had nothing to do with it. You can now see the magic of Albert and myself, the way that we kept that poor boy in check. Because when he went on again and he didn't have us as a boundary, emotionally, he went off the rails. So he was hard to corral, but we knew inside that he was going to have a good heart. He got the fame. He got whatever it is, the Hance disease. And I think that he took it to that next level, and his life started to go on a downward trajectory after he got, voted off that time. So, I think that he was a handful, and you can see now the mastery of why really the decision was between Albert and I at the very end, because of our gamesmanship skill to not only get to the end with one of the strongest, if not the strongest, alliances ever known to man, which is why I have in my game room next to my pinball game of No Fear from the 90s, Williams, fantastic era of pinball. I've got my electronic dartboard, I've got my pool table, and I've got the original Upolu flag sitting there in my game room. Anyway, but I digress. So there you have it, man. Listen, thanks for having me on. I'm going to listen to what Albert has to say, and then I'm signing off.
All right, Albert, what about your relationship with Brandon?
Well, I got to tell you, I got to echo my boy Coach's sentiments. I think just to circle back, Coach, that's just another layer, guys, that it's so special when you get to play. Listen, I saw Token Cheese. I saw Heroes and Villains. I thought I knew who Coach Wade was, right? We all think we know who he is. But I got a chance to meet an incredibly smart and caring and empathetic and just unbelievable human being who's become a really good friend of mine. And what you guys didn't see is, I think Coach caught a little bit of flack at the end for, when the whole Brandon Hance meltdown happened. He gives me the necklace. Coach ends up having a very big deciding factor in that vote, right? I think Coach got a little bit of heat from the fans for that. But what you don't see is how Coach literally day in and day out was managing Brandon, keeping him off the ledge, trying to corral somebody that is literally as much of a bipolar figure as not just that I played with, but I've ever probably encountered in my life. The guy didn't have multiple personalities. He had exponential personalities. It was
how
really,
could he
really
have
wild.
gotten through to even play the game? With the way he was, truthfully, and that was shocking to me.
I think Jim said something once that he failed the psych evaluation, but Probst overrode
I'm sure
it.
He did.
That is true.
I'll tell you, they don't give us players the results to those. Yeah, they don't give us players the results to that. So a lot of that stuff could either come from production or could be some hearsay, but. I'll tell you this, after the fact, knowing what I know now, I'm a pretty big guy. I'm a little disappointed that I slept in a jungle that close to him with a machete that close away from us. Because who knows what could have happened. He literally could have gotten in his head that
Coach,
he could have gotten in his head that somebody wants him to kill.
and Russell at the same season.
Oh yeah, that would have been a lot. So we're fortunate that we got out. But listen, Brandon and I originally I saw a lot in the kid that I liked. I saw kind of a lost soul, and I tried to create a relationship with him through the game. We bonded on matters of faith and just matters of kind of our backgrounds and our family lives and stuff like that, but, not the Russell part, but, his nuclear family. And he's just somebody that I think his brain was, or his heart, was trying to do the right thing, but his brain was so scattered that he just couldn't help but do crazy, irrational things, which are, it's really funny because him and I are basically like the opposite Survivor players. I'm like, hey, let's think about things rationally and like come to a logical conclusion. He's like, whatever my feeling tells me right now, that's exactly what I'm going to do. It's literally, it's a yin and yang of how to play Survivor.
Did his marriage last after all that mess that happened on the show? No.
I think he's been with a couple different relationships. Yeah, he got married very young, obviously, guys. He was 19. He had 2 kids. He was a high school dropout, so he had a lot of baggage going into the show. And I don't wish anything ill towards him. I don't wish anything ill towards him. I wish him well. I really do. I don't think he's a bad person. I just think he's a tortured soul in a lot of ways.
Well, it was that whole what was her name? Sierra, the girl that he had all that mess with, and it was
Michaela.
She did nothing to deserve any of that.
He pretty much killed Michaela's game.
He did, and that was unfortunate because Michaela was somebody that I think got minimized because of him and their awkwardness in their relationship. And somebody I think I would have enjoyed, kind of playing with more in the game. And I think she would have possibly given, the season a little bit more excitement and some stuff like that because she was,
Definitely.
you guys got to miss out on seeing her. She's a really cool, she lives here in Florida.
Yeah, she seemed real cool. I really liked her. I hated what happened with her.
And she was very athletic too.
Yeah, she's a good athlete.
She could have really helped in challenge.
She could have been a lot. I think she could have made the season a little bit more interesting, and I think she was there to play the game too. Not everyone was there to really play the game, and she was there definitely to play the game. So it was unfortunate that she, her time got cut short a little bit.
Yeah. I will have to say before you head off.
Before you get off, what would it take to get you back on the game? What would it have to happen?
I'll tell you, and I do have to leave here pretty shortly, but I will tell you that, there's something interesting about when you play Survivor. When, at least for me, my experience, I got to play 39 days. When you first get back, your body is so beaten and disheveled, and you're like, what on earth did I just do, right? But then as time goes on, at least for me, I'm somebody that's just very, very competitive. I'm very, very, I like to figure games out. I like to just, compete in all things. And for me, I think my experience is a little different than Coach's. Coach, the guy had a heck of a trajectory in the game of Survivor. He got to play 3 times. He's arguably, one of, if not the most legendary player ever to play. I think Coach had, was able to at least see himself grow in the game. For me, still feel like there was more that you guys didn't see. I'd appreciate it when Coach tells me, I was one of the more underrated players. I feel like I had more to show that, the fans at home didn't really get to see. So what motivates me is not really the win, but to come out and be like, kind of what we saw from Sophie in Winners at War, right? If you guys watch South Pacific, our season, Sophie wasn't really somebody who was earth-shattering or was like, wow, look at this incredible player. But then you got to see her on Winners at War, and what did you see on Winners at War? You're like, oh, my God, this girl Sophie Clark from South Pacific is kind of dominating the best players that ever played. She was outplaying the legends of legends. And, I would argue for the first half of the Winners at War season, she might have been the best player playing the best game, you know what I'm saying? And that, to me, was kind of cool to see that, somebody that I played with. And that's what I think is, as a competitor, what you do is to go out and just showcase that, hey, I got some game too, man, and I can make some stuff happen.
Yeah, Coach, you have mentored Cochran, who went on to win. You have mentored Tyson, who went on to win. When is it your turn?
Sounds like I better start mentoring myself. I mean, truthfully, I'll never win because for me, it's different for me and Albert. And I stuck around just to hear Albert say good things about me. I was supposed to go. I told you guys, see you later 10 minutes ago. But I was so good enough, like a biscuit, what Albert was saying. So anyway, I'm really going after this. But I'm never going to win, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. People ask me all the time who don't watch this show, oh, you're on Survivor 3 times, and I never bring it up. They hear from somebody else. I don't talk about it. Hey, what's up, guys? Coach Ben Wade, they call me the Dragon Slayer. I was on the show called Survivor. You know what that is? I mean, that's most people's calling card. I never bring it up. But when somebody says, oh, you're on the show 3 times, did you win? First thing they ask, oh, yeah, I won 3 times. You did? Absolutely. First time, wanted to be the biggest character that the show had seen to date. Second time, I just wanted people to see I was a regular guy and that I was sensitive. I had feelings like everybody else. I wanted to be a normal person. And the third time, I figured I'd give it a go and try to play the game. I accomplished that goal all 3 times through a myriad of luck and production and characters and being, the first targeted to go out. So I achieved that every time. I don't think I can win, but I'm out there not for the game to win and win at challenges because I'm not good at challenges, but to go out there and to transcend mere mortal status, to literally start fusing into the Dragon Slayer, although I guess the last time because Albert was there, he kept me real. And so I just was coach almost the whole time. But I get into this mode where, oh yeah, man, it's like this is why we are out here. Not to win, but to have a show. How many winners have ridden off into obscurity? How many non-winners are some of the biggest characters that the show has ever seen?
Right, right. Well, never say never, Coach, because they still have that Legends idea on the table. So
yeah, everybody will want to play with me in the beginning just because they know that I'll be gullible and I'll just be loyal. And they don't even play the game that way anymore. Can you imagine me playing right now? They don't even know they don't even know what Upolu is. There's no loyalty. There is no anything. And maybe that's why Survivor really does need Coach to come back and bring some old school lessons back. Anyways, guys, I got to go. Thank you for being on. Albert, much love to you, my man.
Nothing but love, brother.
Come back on. We need to see you.
Thanks, Coach.
Bye, Coach.
Bye, Coach.
Albert, what about you? Would you consider playing again, or is it something that you think you're done with it now?
Yeah, I got to tell you, I was. I think I had that urge. I've watched every season since South Pacific. I mean, now we're 17 seasons later, and I think that urge was there for a really long time, and then I was finally. I'll tell you guys, I was almost about to shit in a way, and then I had a good friend who had an opportunity to get casted and got on the show, and his name is Ronnie Barda. First eliminee on season 39, Island of the Idols. I helped him kind of go through the process. He's a good buddy of mine.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
And
right.
his process getting back into the game, it felt like, I don't know if you guys seen like the Rocky movies, but I felt like Rocky Balboa when he starts training Apollo Creed's son again. He's like, oh man, this is interesting. I'm like, this is what you got to do. You got to do this and this and this. And it's like, as I was going through that process with Ronnie, I could just see his success or was hoping for his success, and I could see myself getting that fire inside again. So, I got to tell you, I don't know. It's got to be the right time for me in my life. Things have to line up. I still love the game, like I told you. The show has changed a lot, and the game has changed a lot. I agree with Coach wholeheartedly. Nobody plays the way we played anymore. It's hard to play loyal games, straightforward games. But, I think that if I got the opportunity, I would definitely probably – yeah, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I would jump. I would take it just because it's just, it's such a great game. Yeah.
I've always told people that the TV show is kind of like I always say online game in whispers for people to play, and whenever somebody signs up to play, they say, well, give me some advice, which I always tell them the same 3 things: numbers, loyalty, and timing. If you got those 3 things, you're going to have a good chance. And you guys did have numbers, and you did have loyalty, and you had good timing. You knew when to cut somebody loose.
Listen, I'll tell you right now, my result in the game wasn't the best. I made it to the end, but I left with no votes, and I've kind of turned that into a kind of something fun to kind of laugh at myself and, be able to I think there's beauty and there's power in, being able to laugh at yourself sometimes. So I think I did that. But I'm proud of the way I played. I'm proud of the way our season played out. And, I appreciate you guys, as the true old school fans, appreciating our old school game. So I got time for one more if you guys have another question for me.
All right. Anybody got a question for Albert?
Yes. What was your thought process in getting Brandon to give you his immunity necklace?
Oh, wow. Here we go. As we were talking to Brandon earlier, I had a little bit something on this. So I will say this, as I mentioned earlier, that, to me, the game of Survivor is more important than the show. And I think I kind of underdid, it's funny, in real life, people that know me are like, dude, you're a lot bigger character than I was. I think I'm the only person who was a bigger character in life than I was on reality TV. It's really strange. When I got out there, I was so in my head about, we're here to play the game. I just watched Boston Rob play. I'm like, we're here to be methodical. And I wasn't even thinking about entertaining where, going back in hindsight, that move with Brandon Hance giving me the necklace, if I could do it all over again, I think I would have definitely played it up a little bit more, given production what they wanted to, give them that, that confessional that we saw. If you remember when the first time this happened with Eric Reichenbach in Micronesia, the Witches Coven, they celebrated that, and that became the most infamous in the game's history for a while. Whereas I think I took a little bit more calm approach because I was so wowed by almost being eliminated when that happened that I didn't even have time to celebrate it. It's almost like, holy cow, I was almost out of the game. And I should have taken, my biggest advice to players I would give is take moments like that in the game for any future players and just own them. I think I was a little apologetic for what happened and I was a little bit eggshelly, whereas in hindsight, what I really should have done is say, listen, here's the deal. If I give him that necklace back, I'm out of the game. And I told myself the only thing I would never do here is quit, and giving the necklace back would have been quitting. So I had to do what I had to do to win the game and, make that money for my family. I didn't have a lot of money when I played Survivor. I had to borrow $1,500 from production to pay my rent before I left. That's how badly I was doing at 26 years old. So, the money meant a lot to me at the time. It meant a heck of a lot. So, and it still does. It's $1 million. It's still a really big sum. So, in hindsight, I would have probably celebrated more. I would have probably played it up more. And, who knows? Maybe one day you guys will get to see, the Albert 2.0 version. I can give you guys some laughs and some entertainment. So I appreciate you having me on, though, man. This has been a lot of fun,
All right. We're glad you call in, Albert. And it's refreshing to hear the bond between you and Coach is still like it is after all those years ago.
Coach is a great guy, man. I'm really happy not only to be on here with you guys, but get to share a little extra time with him. So it's always fun to do that. So you guys have a blessed night, all right? I appreciate you guys. Be good.
Thanks,
all right,
Albert.
Thanks, Albert.
Thanks, Albert.
Thanks, Albert.
Thanks, Albert.
Well, now if Christine decides to call in, she was the other one that
tea. All of that tea that just got unleashed. Oh my God!
Boy, do you think you don't think Coach sends Ozzy Christmas cards, do you?
No.
Nope. Yeah, I remember one of the things that just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth with Ozzy when he basically, at the final tribal council, was like, none of us want to vote for any of you.
Yeah, and we heard Coach talk about, how Ozzy was. He made the jury about himself. It had to be about him. It was, the finale night was not about the final three. Ozzy tried to make it about himself. And there was a lot of resentment there. And the way he talked to Albert, like, you forget it, you're a non-entity. And then he attacked Coach, made fun of him. How he couldn't answer a question without saying honor or loyalty. He basically just picked on the two guys and was trying to hand the game over to Sophie.
Was Coach serious when he said that Ozzy's doing porn?
Yes, very serious.
Heard that.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
he
is.
It's been reported on. It's been reported on, too.
What's wrong with him? Oh, my gosh. Ugh.
I know.
Yeah.
I got to get that mental picture out of my head.
I know that. I'm shocked.
He really is.
Wow.
He'll sell you videos. He'll sell you videos too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Amanda must have been a saint.
One thing that does, it probably ensures he's never going to be on the show again.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if they put Brandon Hance on, who the hell knows?
Yeah, but Brandon hasn't done porn. Now, Brian.
Yeah, but he was nice.
When Brian won,
talking about the machete being between them, that's not funny. When you're dealing with somebody that's crazy, you really don't know what the hell they're going to do to you.
Exactly. You don't.
He never should have been. I mean, seriously, Brandon never should have been on that show.
Yeah, and he did. I'm telling you, and Coach knows this because I've talked to him before. He knows I have really good sources. Brandon did not pass the psych exam, and Jeff pushed him through anyway.
That's bullshit.
And that was both times. And you saw what he did. I mean, I felt so bad for Michaela, for Mickey.
It was awful what he did to her.
But
the thing is, if you're dealing with a nutcase like that, who knows what the hell they can do? He can put, the other players at risk. That's not cool.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
You could tell Brenda and Andrea were visibly shaken by his little tirade.
He was just crazy.
Yeah, they were. He dumps food. He tears up the camp. You can still see those evil eyes that he had when Jeff was trying to massage his shoulders and help him out, and Brandon's just sitting there like he looked like the devil. He looked like he was fixing to kill somebody.
Well, I will say this. Shortly after that episode aired, we posted on Cochrane's Facebook stating, "Dude, why didn't you stand up for me after what I did for you in South Pacific?"
Well, Cochrane's not going to get involved in any drama. He's not going to do that. So, but
he's the exact opposite of Brandon.
When we look at the final votes, Sophie got 6 and Coach got 3. Coach got Rick, Edna, and Cochrane. Sophie got, of course, she got Ozzy. She got Brandon, Whitney, Dawn, Keith, and Jim Rice. Any of that surprise you?
No, was Jim Rice the pot guy?
Seems like I remember something about that.
At the time.
Yeah,
at the time, yes, he was.
Yeah.
What year was that season again, Jim?
Do what, Kansas?
What year was this season?
2011.
2011. Seems longer than that. It seems like such a long time ago.
Let me look. Let me look at the year. I know they started. I remember they started filming May the 30th. Let's see. Oh. It's been a while. 2011.
Doesn't it seem longer than 10 years, though? I mean, it just seems like such a long time ago.
They filmed it from May 30th through July the 7th. and it premiered in September of that same year.
Wow.
People had to have their applications in by January the 11th, and like I said earlier, there were over 800 applicants, and only 16 people picked. So it's kind of like Papa Bear said earlier tonight, Kansas, and Eddie, you missed Papa Bear. He said, once you get on the show, you've already won, you know, because
sure.
the odds are so against you even getting on the show.
Yep.
So you feel like even if I leave first, it's okay, you know, I at least made it on the show.
Yeah.
And another thing he said, I don't know that you heard it, well, Eddie, I know you didn't. I don't think Kansas was on yet. He was a finalist for Survivor Nicaragua and ended up getting cut from that show. And we've had 3 guests tonight: Papa Bear, Coach, and Albert, and not one of them has said anything other than like Brandon was crazy. All of them said.
You just have to look at him and see how he was acting out there on the island to begin with. You know, that right there. I mean, I'm sure obviously there was a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes that wasn't shown that showed just exactly how unstable he was.
Yeah, I mean, and somebody, I think it was Teresa, brought up earlier how shook up he made Andrea and Brenda when they all played together. I still remember the scene of Brenda and Andrea hugging each other and crying because they were so scared of this guy, what he was saying, what he was doing, what he was threatening. And that's the season they didn't even let him stay at Ponderosa. He got to Ponderosa and started threatening the staff. He just flew his ass on home. They sent him home.
And then, of course, they wouldn't let him come back for the finale.
Yeah. But I thought, I've known Coach forever. I've known Albert for quite a while, but not as close I am with Coach. I never realized they were still this close, but they really made a bond out there. They really worked together. And for Ozzy to stand up and say, you know, try to answer this without using honor and loyalty, all Coach had to do was look around and say, look who I'm sitting here with. These are the people in my alliance. This is who we tried to get here. You're the one got voted out 3 times.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny that Ozzy preaches about he preached that whole thing about Coach preaching about honor and loyalty, and yet they had made a pact when they were out there on the island at one point to go all the way to the end. If either of them had the. And I guarantee you, Ozzy would have cut Coach if he had the opportunity.
Yeah.
If the numbers went the other way, and Savai was in charge, and Ozzy still had that deal with Coach, he would have cut Coach immediately.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of what Papa Bear was saying earlier. He said Ozzy just changes with the wind every day, you know. He was making the point where, you know, it's great to be good at challenges and stuff, but how do you trust somebody that they change their mind every day? You don't know who they're with day to day. I know the thing that frustrated me the most that season was him getting 3 damn chances. It was like, and Papa Bear brought that up. You know, he gets all those chances, and I have the idol clue, but he finds the idol. So do we ever really know what's really going on? I mean, that's what Papa Bear said. I didn't say that. He said that. So.
Yeah, that is kind of sketchy that he got 3 chances.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm on the jury and you've had 3 chances and I ain't even been voted, you know, I got voted out one time and I'm done. I'm sorry, I'm not voting for you to be the best Survivor player out here if you've been voted out 3 times. Just not going to happen. So even had he made it to the end, Coach said he thought the vote would be 5-4 if Ozzy got there, or maybe it was Papa Bear. One of them said they thought it'd be 5-4 if Ozzy would have got there, and he would have still lost to Sophie.
I'll tell you one thing. This podcast tonight has really, I think it should have really opened up a whole bunch of our eyes about what really went down, because, good God, you know, if I were to rewatch the season now, I'd look at it in a much different perspective, considering all the stuff that Coach and Albert completely threw out there.
Yeah. I mean, when you listen to them and you realize they went from start to finish together, and they stuck together. And then Ozzy says, you know, don't preach honor. And well, they were honorable to who was with them. It's like you said, Steve, Ozzy is the one Coach went to. He made a deal. You know, when he came back in, let's just go final 3. And Ozzy said, okay. And then Ozzy's the one that went and ran his mouth and told about the deal. So, who's honorable and who's not? And I thought Papa Bear brought up some interesting points about Cochran. He said he doesn't, you know, he didn't believe any of the bullying edit. He said that boy didn't get bullied. So that was probably just for TV. That was probably for TV because he's the little nerdy underdog. So let's have him get bullied, and it'll add to his story, you know. But
exactly. That's what probably happened, Jim. Was they probably took a look. Obviously, you know, they always cast certain types, and when they took a look at Cochran, the first thing they probably thought was, this is a guy who probably got bullied around in school to begin with. So, you know, we can basically recreate that here and start, you know, put something in there that never really even happened.
Yeah.
Or maybe put one little thing.
Papa Bear was very blunt about it. He said, it didn't happen. That boy did not get bullied. Did not happen. And he likes Cochran. You know, he likes Cochran. He just said that didn't happen. It just didn't happen. So, Kansas and Eddie, I don't think you were on early enough for me to read Dawn's message to everybody. She sends her love. She wanted to try to do the show, but she had already committed 2 hours to a Rob Has a Podcast, and then she also is back in school at night taking a psychology course, and she even sent me a text from there after I gave her message to everybody. She sent all of her love and thanks for the support. She texted me from class saying, thanks for giving my message, and I'm just sneaking in my phone right now because I'm sitting in class.
Okay.
Funny story about Dawn, though, when I started talking to her about maybe trying to get her on the podcast, and this was not public until JJ decided to tell the mods. She was like, well, yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun, but Jim, Brenda has a lot of fans, and if you have her on too, I don't know how that would work out with me and her. I said, Dawn, you're getting your seasons mixed up. It's South Pacific.
I guess that translates there's still tension between them.
They will never care much about each other. I mean, Dawn went through a lot, and Brenda went through a lot. I know when Dawn got back, she had to actually, like Coach was saying earlier, you know, they had a therapist or somebody talking to him after that tribal. Dawn went through that. Dawn had to go through some help to get over what all happened between her and Brenda. And of course, I know Brenda and Brenda's Brenda. She wasn't apologetic. She said she deserved it after the way she did me. So, yeah, I don't think those two are on each other's Christmas card list either.
That's the number one thing with this game.
At the time, I even met Dawn's husband when she was going through all of that. And he was thanking me for always supporting her. Because I was kind of in the middle, you know. Everybody knew that I knew Brenda, and but I was like, Dawn, this don't have nothing to do with our friendship, you know, not a thing. I don't think any less of you. She may have went a little too far. So that's why she brought Brenda up. She thought she got her seasons mixed up, and she thought for sure I'd have Brenda on here. But folks, I got a news flash for you. As long as I'm married, that ain't happening.
Yeah, not if you want. Not if you want to. If you don't want to sleep on the couch, she'll probably not be on the show.
I don't even know if I'd make the couch. I don't know if I'd get in the house.
Okay, why is that?
Brenda and I were very, very close.
Oh, gotcha.
And didn't work out like, how can I say all of this now? I should save this for the after show, shouldn't I? I shouldn't bring it up. I got 4 minutes to the after show.
Well, we can wait for 5 minutes.
All right, well, remind me in 5 minutes, Steve, and I'll tell the story as to why JJ is not a Brenda fan. And I mean, you can't You can't argue with JJ on this. So if you hang on and go into the overtime, you'll hear the story. So it was wild. It was crazy. It included Brenda. You know how we talk about players thinking when they leave the game, all of a sudden they're going to be stars and stuff. And Brenda's done well for herself. She really has. But it was not my advice. I'll always tell any survivor I'm close to, let it go. Get back to your job. Get back to your life and your family. And let this stuff go. If they want you again, they'll call you. And I told her, I said, they're going to call you again, Brenda. I already know they are. They're going to call you again. So just let it go. You know, get back to life. But then certain things happen. We got involved in a paddleboard business down in Miami, and I'll tell you the dirty details in the after show. Eddie, how have you been doing?
Oh, I've just been real busy. A lot going on. Still liquidating the estate. You know, just about got half of that done, and then I'm moving to Florida.
What part? What part of Florida?
Somewhere on the East Coast. I'm not sure yet where. Okay. I want to be on the East Coast, somewhere between Boca Raton and St. Augustine in that area.
Don't get down there where they have them damn hurricanes now.
Oh, that doesn't bug me. I lived in New Orleans most of my life. Hurricanes are just a thing for us to go out and party. You'd board your house up and you'd go to the French Quarter and party your ass off.
That sounds like New Orleans. It really does. It sounds like New Orleans.
I'll just go get drunk. It's 24 hours a day there, you know. Even college. I mean, you go in your classes at 8 o'clock in the morning, get them all done, then go take a nap in the afternoon, and it was party time.
Yeah.
You go out to the bars and then eat, and then, you know, it's a very European city.
Yeah.
Speaking of the
Kansas,
after
where was
show.
you at? Kansas, where was you at last week? We missed you last week.
Oh, this week and last week. Last week I had like a killing migraine. This week I'm feeling like shit because today I got the my COVID shot. I was able to get my first COVID shot, but it hit me hard. I feel like I'm getting a little cold.
Oh, really? So you're having some after effects of the shot?
Yeah. I mean, I knew about the pain in the arm and stuff. My arm is killing me, but it made me like so woozy. My throat started to hurt a little bit, you know, on the ride home. But that's why I'm really not talking much. So you guys can enjoy it. You won't hear me gabbing away.
Yeah, Kansas. The same thing happened to me. It was like the school I worked for provided the shot, and so then I went to my job at the school, was there 45 minutes, and I started to feel dizzy, and so I had to go sit down. And the teacher I worked for was like, "You okay?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm just a little dizzy." And so she basically called the principal and was like, "We think you need to go home." And thank God.
Yeah, you needed to be home, definitely.
And basically I went straight to bed.
Yeah, I just crashed. I was out like a light.
And thankfully, the school paid me for the day.
That's
so
good.
I got paid to stay home and sleep. And then it was.
I'm
really
like
when I got the first shot.
That damn shot. Because I thought I was going to have to wait until.
We have added Tim and Evan for the after show. So how are you guys doing?
Hey everyone, doing good.
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm currently driving from the bowling alley home, so I'm gonna have my mic on mute so y'all don't hear anything from my driving.
Okay, hi, Evan.
Hey, y'all.
Tim, what did you think of the comments tonight from Papa Bear, Albert, and Coach? Anything kind of make you raise your eyebrows like, wow?
Well, let me just say, damn, they went in on Ozzy tonight. But that honestly, that doesn't surprise me about him. Like, the first 2 seasons I liked them, but after that I just really got the impression that he was self-absorbed and arrogant, especially on Game Changers, considering he still held a grudge against Suri for Micronesia.
Oh, it's been a minute since I've watched that. I've gotten, as far as rewatching, I've gotten as far as Kagian, which is a Tony season, and I've kind of taken a break because I want to see where these podcasts go. So I've been, the last few weeks, been binge watching Criminal Minds.
Well, I can tell you for a fact, it's like I do everything. They're kind of on a whim. I don't have any idea right now what the next one's going to be. I've taken suggestions from some people, but I kind of have to try to balance it. You know, if we want guests, if you want to hear from guests, we need to go back. You know, we need to be around the seasons where I know a lot of them, you know, and I can get some people on.
Well, if you could do Game Changers,
if it's just us wanting to talk, then we can do any season, you know.
Well, do you think you could get Tony and Sarah?
Tried that before, got a commitment, and then for some reason it went away. So I may try that again.
Tony and Sarah would be a real treat.
Yeah. But
by the way, this is true too. This is true. Jim literally messages me whenever he comes up with the next idea of what podcast to do, because I end up doing the artwork and everything, and he hasn't messaged me yet with the next one. So
yeah,
we probably won't know for.
I haven't even thought about it. I haven't even thought about it. I kind of take my Whispers work week. Like when we get through the podcast, I'm off until Sunday, and then I'll start worrying about next week. You know.
Exactly.
So we do have another Amazing Race podcast confirmed. We just don't have a date yet. Of course, we can do any Survivor season we want to, but I like to try to figure it out to where, you know, we at least have one guest that'll come on. You know, and tonight we got lucky with 3. Dawn tried to make it, but she's in class. So I thought Papa Bear was good. He was very informative, very honest. Of course, Coach is Coach. I mean, you know what you're going to get from Coach. I thought Albert was really informative. You know, he was really intelligent, really informative about what happened. Maybe when these conversations pop up, like who's the most underrated ever, maybe Albert's name should be brought into that topic.
Yeah, I definitely think, especially knowing now some of the stuff that went on this season and how specifically, you know, they weren't really given much of a shot at Final Tribal. Kind of thinking, I'm having a much different opinion now. I know I had spoken about Albert before he came on the show tonight. But I have a pretty different opinion now about him after listening to all the stuff that they had to go through.
Yeah, and Tim even brought up what you brought up to me the other night when we were talking. When I told you I was going to probably have Albert on, and you said he's probably got the best Twitter handle out of anybody. He brought that up. He brought up his Twitter handle. Are you still there, Tim?
Have any of y'all been watching Amazing Race Australia?
No, I don't have the access to that.
It's pretty good.
No,
I know they're filming The Survivor right now too, right?
Well, no, they haven't actually started filming. What they're doing is they're sending crew out, and they're doing it like in groups. They're sending part crew out because they have to quarantine. Then they can go to work. Then they send another part of the crew out. They quarantine, and they go to work. And then eventually it'll get down to, I'd have to go look it up, but I posted the filming when they're going to start filming 41 and 42. And there should at least be a season on TV by September, November. And then another one probably February, March. And both cast are all newbies. They're all newbies.
Now, what about Australia? Aren't they starting to film too, Survivor?
I really don't keep up with Australia, Eddie. I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't watch it. I mean, is that where Felicity played, Tim?
Yeah.
And I guess that's where Russell played. Felicity is the only person I know, I'm friends with, from Australia. And, that's why I still post her pictures and stuff in Whispers, because we're friends. I don't watch Australia. I never have gotten into it. I watch Survivor. I start out watching Big Brother, and I usually give up on it because it gets so crazy. Amazing Race, they held my interest last year. I really enjoyed that season. Normally I start watching that, and then I stop watching, but I love that cast so much that I watched the entire season.
It's a great show this time. And they have in Australia right now, they're down to the final 3, and they're using a lot of Survivor, building alliances and things like that. They're showing that. So all the other shows are picking up on Survivor.
Yeah.
One thing I'm curious to see of what they do is I know that they had to actually halt production of Amazing Race 33. So I'm curious of what they're going to do with that. If they're just going to scratch the season, or
I know Phil's other show, second season debuted, Tough as Nails.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
a lot of people like that show.
It's good. There's another one coming out too on National Geographic this coming week. It's supposed to be pretty good.
What is that? What's coming out on there?
Race to the Center of the Earth.
Yeah, Center of the Earth. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Great production.
Quick story. All right. The quick story about Brenda, JJ. Brenda and I were together for a while, and after the show, she decides I want to move to LA. Let's move to LA. Let's get an apartment in LA. And I'm like, you don't want to do that, Brenda. Well, I might get some acting. I might get some acting roles. I'm like, Brenda, stay in Miami with your family. That's where your family is. That's where your roots are. That's where your business is. That's where your contacts are. Don't go this route thinking you're fixing to go out and be some Hollywood star or something like that. So that led to how should I phrase it? A big difference of opinion, I guess, and we were not on the same wavelength anymore. And that's when I met JJ, started talking to her a lot. Really, really just fell for her because she's so cool, so funny, so smart. And after we get together, then Brenda calls back. So that's why JJ does not have any use for Brenda.
So forget about the couch. If you got Brenda on your podcast, you'd probably be neutered.
Yeah, and Steve, didn't I tell you about this a few weeks ago? I get these crazy ideas. I think I texted Steve at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, something like that, and I'm like, Steve, I just had another crazy idea. And you're like, okay, what is this one? I'm like, could you imagine if I did a podcast with Brenda after our history and all that we went through together, the whole me being sued and her threatening the show, saying, go ahead and call me in court, I'll tell you the truth. I mean, would that be ratings gold? And Steve's like, yeah, it probably would, but what about JJ?
And then that's when the fear of God got put into you.
That's when the fear of God got into me. And I said, I can't do that. Be a hell of a podcast, but not worth it. Melissa, are you still out there?
Yep.
You've been so quiet tonight. You're being a good little student sitting in the back of the room.
Well, I've been just listening to everybody.
What did you think about the things that you heard tonight from Papa Bear, Coach, and Albert? What did you think about it? Did you have any eyebrow-raising moments too?
I did, and it depressed me, and I kind of lost my train of thought about Ozzy because I loved Ozzy so much, and now I'm kind of very disappointed.
Did you know about the porn?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I did know it and had to unfollow him because of it.
Yeah, he advertises it.
Yeah. He's got the bod for it. But ew. That's all I got to say. my train of thought is not really good right now because, well, I've had some. Okay, so you guys know that I used to do Instacart.
Right.
I was an Instacart shopper, and when COVID hit, my doctor told me, you're too high of a risk. I don't think it's a good idea for you to shop, yada, yada. So I haven't been shopping, but I've still been working on, I admin on a Facebook page. And I've been trying to stay current with it because I thought at some point I'm going to go back. And so when the vaccine came out, I immediately signed up for it, but I didn't get the email to get it until yesterday. So I got it today, my first shot.
Good.
But on Monday in Boulder, Colorado, which is a hop, skip, and a jump from me, we had 10 people savagely murdered in a King Soopers, and one happened to be an Instacart shopper.
Oh, my God.
And, yeah. And it's just really kind of shook everybody up, all of us Instacart shoppers, because I was seriously thinking, cool, I'm going to get my vaccines and everything, and I'm going to go back to work. But now I'm kind of like, oh, boy. I won't have to worry about COVID, but now I'm going to have to worry about getting shot, you know?
Oh, Melissa.
Yeah.
This week hasn't been very good for me. So then we had an incident where we had another Instacart shopper, one of my good friends, who started a GoFundMe for the family of the Instacart shopper. And we had some other Instacart shoppers who started a smear campaign against her. And so I've had to deal with that, but we finally got that worked out, thankfully. But it's just been kind of a train wreck this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Steve, I wonder who Purple Pill was in the chat room tonight.
Yeah,
what?
I kind of thought that was kind of weird when I saw that it said Purple Pill joined the chat and then Purple Pill left the chat. I wonder if it was just a random somebody who ended up stumbling on the podcast or something.
Yeah,
because I checked and they aren't subscribed to the Missyae Podcast, at least on Blog Talk.
Yeah.
Huh.
It probably was. You know, it's probably just one of those random drive-bys. You know, they probably joined in and they thought, oh, well, this ain't what I thought it was. You know, it's Survivor, but I was thinking it was about, you know, survivors of this or that. So that's probably what it was.
I don't know. I went ahead and put on, you know, I have this little tiny page. I think there's only like 5 or 6 members of it, you know, that I started before I started getting into Whispers and stuff. And I had told them that I was doing podcasts, but Purple Pill does not sound familiar to me. So,
yeah.
But I didn't leave. I didn't leave the.
The only thing I know about a Purple Pill is that it's Nexium.
Yeah.
Nexium is literally a Purple Pill.
We need to go to JV because he's probably our expert on this, because I know he's really high on blue pills. What's a purple pill?
Oh my God.
I'm almost afraid to know.
JB. Jim, I think you might have scared him away.
No, he's still on here. He's still on here. He may have muted himself for some reason.
He might be
He
asleep.
muted
JB or Evan that was driving, and so they muted.
Evan was driving.
Evan was driving. Keyword in there was, I'm actually home now.
Yeah, Evan's still on here. He's still on here.
Okay,
yeah, I'm still on here now.
Purple pill
JB,
is
you hear
for
my
acid
question?
reflux.
JB,
Yeah, I
you hear my
heard the question. I heard the question, and I'm not an expert, believe me.
Okay,
Believe me.
Jim, I just Googled purple pill, and it's basically Viagra.
I thought
maybe it was Ozzy.
Viagra.
Maybe it was Ozzy.
Maybe it was Ozzy. I thought the blue pill was Viagra.
Oh boy!
You just made me laugh so hard I started coughing.
The purple one is next to him.
I don't know.
Purple pill is for acid reflux.
Oh, really? Well, they must really have a bad reflex to use a name like that on the internet as being a purple pill.
I need some water.
Hey, Kansas, how's it going with your shots? You say you're suffering from the after effects?
Yeah.
Was it your first one or your second one, hon?
Honestly, I'm so lucky that I got this, because I thought I was going to have to wait until, like April or May. And then when they came out with, like, ages 16 to 64 that have, like, any kind of heart issues, so I called up and I just thought, I wonder if high blood pressure would be considered that, and it is. So I was able to get the shot.
Now, you actually live in Kansas, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because my husband had a heart attack in 2015, so he was able to get his shot. He gets the second one next week.
Yeah, they said if there's I wasn't sure if high blood, but I know high blood pressure is, considered, like a heart issue kind of thing. So I was holding my breath, just to be able to get the shot.
So did you just get your first one or your second one?
Oh, this is my first. I just got it today.
Oh.
But I'm feeling like shit. I'm feeling like shit now, but it's worth it.
I got the Pfizer.
2 weeks
Which one did you get?
Pfizer.
You did? Oh.
Yeah.
Kim, what about you? Kim, what are your shots? Who are they from?
Mine are from Moderna.
Yeah, mine are Moderna too. Yeah, so, when I got the when I got the first one last month, we drove as soon as my husband picked me up from the school, and we drove straight to Illinois, and I told my husband, you can go ahead and visit your mom. I don't care. And I just crashed at the hotel. Because I did not feel like doing anything.
Yeah, I haven't had any side effects so far. My husband got his yesterday, and he woke up with a sore arm. But that's about the...
Yeah, that lasted a couple of days for me, and then other than that, I was just tired.
Yeah, I heard that that it's like a flu shot, and no, it's not. I never had such a sore arm like this before. This is seriously, this is messed up.
You want to know something funny?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is on Big Brother Whisper. I posted something that Sarah and I had been talking about how Cody and Jessica spent $1,000 on their 2-year-old's birthday party. And after a huge debate on that, people basically trashing me saying, oh, you're Cody and Jessica haters. It's like if people want to spend $1,000 on their birthday parties and blah, blah, blah. And Sarah was kind of defending some of the things. And then finally I'm just like, screw it, it's not worth it. So I deleted the post. Sarah texted me like, why did you delete the post? And I'm like, well, because there was too many toxic people on there. And he's like, she said, just a few. You shouldn't have deleted it.
Well, yeah, I saw
they're
the
jealous,
original
not
post.
toxic. They're just jealous that they can't spend that kind of money on their kid.
I saw the original post, and I must say, I can understand it. What Jess and Cody did. We spend a lot of money on our kids.
It's their choice.
That may have been a little excessive for a birthday party, but
they have the money. They can do it.
Ever since they were on Big Brother, I've always liked both of them. I like Jess and Cody. I like
her better than I like him.
I think they're building a beautiful
I really
family.
like her.
Yeah. I have to say, I guess because I don't have that kind of money, I'm like, if I had $1,000 with, because the Maverick, I think her name is only like a few days older or younger than my granddaughter, and I'm like, there's so many practical things I could get her for her birthday than just throwing a party.
Well, but that's your opinion, and that's your parenting or grandparenting, and people are different,
Well, it's their choice. If they want to spend that kind of money, it's up to them.
Well,
it's
not even that.
I mean,
they have it, though. I mean, they have the money to spend it, so what the heck?
Not even that as much. Maybe even when she got a little bit older, it would know what's going on. If that makes any sense.
Well, I mean, it's different. People are different. Times are different. I know when I was growing up, shorts, blue jeans, T-shirt, and if I were to suggest that for our boy, for Carter, I mean, JJ dresses these kids like they walk out of a magazine. So I can't really gripe about Jess and Cody. If they've got the money and that's what they want to spend it on, I mean, they're spending it on one of their kids.
So
and let's be real, the party's really not for the child as much as it is for them. It's the kids are not going to understand it so much, but it's for them and their family. It's for their
a celebration of
so
life.
What did they spend
their
$1,000
We
on?
need to celebrate life. And if I had the money, I'd give a kid or somebody I love anything I could to put a smile on their face and celebrate their life.
There you go. Right.
Okay, what did they buy? What did they spend $1,000 on?
Well, $1,000 now isn't all that much money. I mean, think about it. What things are costing now. And hell, if it made them happy, what does it matter? Now, I don't have that kind of money right now, but God bless it. If I did, any one of you, I'd spend $1,000 to celebrate your birth.
You're so sweet.
The thing about it, Eddie,
I love you, Eddie.
Well, let's be real. Money's money. Yeah, we all need it. We're all hurting. But God, life is so much more important. And if I could give somebody a smile on their face by giving them a party, and if it costs $2,000, what the hell does it matter? What
and
is going to be alive
with
tomorrow?
everything going on today, I worry more about the people
point.
just staying safe with these parties. Not getting COVID. That worries more about that than the money spent. To be honest,
Candace, I will say this: that if I had the $1,000, I'd be buying myself a plane ticket to actually be there personally for her second birthday.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
See, I used to throw parties for my kids all the time, and they really weren't that big of a party. But when you consider, I'd have my brothers and their kids and their wives, and some neighborhood kids, and you're buying, little gift bags, and I would provide lunch and drinks and the cake and balloons and blah, blah, blah. It all adds up. It does.
And
it could have been a very simple party, and it ended up costing that.
Right.
Who knows, Melissa? Maybe they paid. Who knows? Maybe they paid for a relative to come to the party. Maybe that was part of the expense.
Yeah, and that could be.
Now, before it gets time that we cut off,
Texas.
Jim, I gotta know. Do you know anything about the cast that's coming up to the next seasons?
41 and 42 are both newbies, and as soon as they get out there, and have officially left, because I don't like to give names before they leave because they can get bumped if their name comes out. When the cast is out there and they're actually there to start filming, I'll start releasing more information.
Yeah, but you do got it. Good. I can't find anything. I mean, I watch them all. I'm an addict. I'm in Australia, Africa.
Eddie, it's all about the sources.
Okay, Eddie, I'm curious. Where do you guys get actually be able to see like Big Brother Canada or Amazing Race Australia or?
We used to post links in Survivor Whispers of the Australian shows. I don't guess we do that anymore.
I will send the link on. I won't say it on the podcast, but you need to have a VPN to get to the links, and you can watch all of them. And I'll send the links to Jim if he wants to give them out to people. You can see all the shows, all 5 seasons of Australia, of Africa, everything.
Okay.
But I will send you the links.
Now, just because I said I don't watch it does not mean it's not good, because I've heard nothing but good things about Survivor Australia. I've heard nothing but good things.
Oh my God, it's fantastic.
It is so good. I've actually been binge watching
the Amazing Race Australia right now. Oh my God, they've entered stowaways. I've never seen that before.
The stowaways is the dumbest thing ever. That should never happen.
I'm glad both of them got voted off. But they introduce stowaways now.
It is a highly unfair advantage for a team to enter the race midway through and not even really get penalized somehow for it.
I know. I agree with you totally. I don't like it, but they've entered it. It is now a thing on those shows. Stowaways.
Yeah, the only thing I saw that happen to the teams that came in late was they had to start 5 minutes later than anyone else. That is nothing to a team of professional athletes and a team of bodybuilders.
Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't like either one of the two teams coming in. I thought they were nasty and cold. And then when they got voted off, they were horrible. I mean, they weren't honorable people.
Wait a minute, is this Amazing Race or
Amazing Race?
Or
I haven't seen. I will say I have not seen.
How do you get voted off on Amazing Race?
You're the last
they
team
get
to
eliminated.
show up.
I'm sorry.
You're the last team to show up. It ain't a vote to it. You're the last one to show up to the mat, and you're gone. Eddie, you missed our.
Well, I know that, but when they said voted off, I got confused.
No, it's not voted. You get eliminated.
People go to get on the site.
Yeah.
If they were gonna do the stowaways thing,
Eddie,
they were going to do the show.
You missed our podcast. You missed our podcast with Hung and Chi.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I didn't realize you were that big of a Thor fan, Eddie. I didn't know that. I thought you were basically
I'm a total addict.
Well, you missed a good podcast with Hung and Chi. They told a lot of interesting things. How that Final Five alliance really wasn't a Final Five alliance. They talked a lot of good stuff. And we've got the Blondes coming up pretty soon. Kaylin and Haley are going to do a podcast.
Oh, nice. I'll be trying to get back on more. It's just been really busy. I got a new little puppy, and I'm trying to get the second house I'm in for sold. I got the first one sold, got one more to sell, and then I got a new little Parson Terrier. His stepbrother is the #1 winning Parson Terrier in the country. He's a gorgeous little booger. I'll put a picture online of him. But I will try to get on more. In fact, Jim, thanks for letting me know. I've been going to sleep and just getting up and working to get these houses sold.
Yeah.
And I meant to be on earlier. I just fell asleep after working out in the yard so long. But thank you guys for letting me talk.
You might want to go back in the archives and listen to when we had Andrew Savage and his wife Stephanie. Some very interesting things there. Stephanie was actually the one that applied first and wanted to get on the show and loved the show, and she got Andrew into it, and he ends up getting on the show, and she told a very interesting story about, what all you go through trying to get ready for the family visit. We had Matt Bischoff and his wife Tessa, and they talked about the same things and how Tessa wanted to get on the show really, really bad. You hear a lot of things that you just had no idea about.
I'm gonna go back and start listening. I've been so busy. I'm sorry. I miss you guys. I will definitely be on more. Especially, if anyone minds, just send me a note or buzz me and let me know you're on. Sometimes I'm so friggin' tired trying to get all these buildings done and sold, and with COVID going on, it's hard to make sales, and it's just not
right.
But I've done it.
Right.
I've got it all done. I'm going to be in Florida hopefully within the year. But I really enjoyed tonight. Thank you, Jim, so much, and thank you guys, Jim, for getting in touch with me.
Yeah, that'll be good, Eddie. That'll be good. And you got to get ready for season 41 of Survivor, because we got to have our Eddie edits segment each week.
Just definitely somebody call me right before the podcast or something, because I take naps at strange times. I'm just worn out. I got 4 25-foot truckloads of stuff out of the first building I had to get out. And my partner was a hoarder, big time hoarder, and it's all high-end stuff. I found the Picasso the other day. But
oh wow!
Yeah, and a Philip Burke. I'm finding things that I don't know the value of them. So I have to be very careful, because even though he was a hoarder, he was a high-end hoarder. So I'm having to be very careful getting rid of stuff. But anyway, no, just want anybody, if you don't mind, just call me right before. Y'all got my number. Call me right before the podcast. I'll get on. I'll be on. I'm already searching, Jim, everything I can to find out. You know that.
Yeah.
I'm a true addict.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Eddie.
Very much.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Eddie.
I'll be on.
Yeah, Evan, you made it home safe, and have you been able to listen to any of the Papa Bear, Coach, and Albert part of the show?
I hadn't. I'm going to listen back to it probably tomorrow or something before work.
I think you're going to be surprised at a few things.
Well, I've talked to Papa Bear before. I've Skyped with him. He's a nice guy. He's real smart.
Oh, he is, yeah.
I meant to be on.
He's a he talked about the casting process. He was originally supposed to be on Nicaragua, and he got bumped. And he talked about how casting was. He said when he was out there walking around with the final people in the hotel, he said, I saw like 5 of me. I saw 5 of us that looked the same and seemed the same, and I kept seeing day to day one of them leave, then that one left, then that one left, and he's starting to think, man, I got a chance at this, you know. So and he had some. He didn't have very nice things to say about Brandon, and he didn't think Cochran got bullied like they portrayed him. He did mention their pre-jury trip. They went to Fiji, and he mentioned the one. He's still real close to a lot of the players. You know, that's one of the things this show brings out. It creates lifelong friends. If you're in that little club, if you're in that Survivor club, you know, you're always friends. And luckily for me, I found my little niche in that thing to where I'm friends with a lot of them. And that's why a lot of these pods work out and a lot of the sources work out. And it's weird, you know, it's weird how it all happened because I kind of fell into it, but I can't wait for a new season.
I mean, that's why I'm taking all these generic shows. My addiction's too high. It's like your own heroin. You gotta take something.
JB, what did you were here for the whole thing. You even got logged in before Steve tonight. I think that might be a record. Steve always gets connected first, but you beat him tonight. What did you think about what the guest had to say tonight?
One thing that I was going to mention, and that is on all the podcasts that I have heard, it seems like, except for Brandon Hands, it seems like everybody says everybody on that season was so nice, and it's just, you know, like you have said for the past, 15 years since I've known you, it's all in the editing.
Yeah. It is. I mean, it is. And that's like I told, I don't remember if it was Coach or Albert, or maybe it was Papa Bear. I think it was Papa Bear when he was talking about Cochran. I said, you know, it's the bottom line, it's a TV show. And if they've got a nerd in the cast and they're trying to promote them, they may show him as being bullied. And Papa Bear made it very, very clear. Cochran was never, ever bullied. It did not happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Exactly.
So. We do hear. It's so great, these pods, when we get them on here, because for some reason they seem to open up with me and tell me stuff, and I mean, it's, you know, a lot of things that we didn't know, you know. And I can tell you for a fact when Coach was talking about the 3 times he played, what his thoughts were the first time, what his thoughts were the second time, and what his thoughts were the third time. He has told me that verbatim before on the phone. So he was telling you the truth and what his thought process was. And I will tell you this, he may want to act debatable about it, but he'd go back. He would go back.
Oh, I think he would
I
too.
hope so. I'd like to see him again.
Yeah, I do
we
too.
need to see Coach again, I think.
I know he is. I know he's been contacted about that possible Legend season. I know he's been contacted. It just all depends, like I told them tonight, it all depends on the timing, because they kind of want that to be the final season ever. But they have contacted him. They have contacted Penner. So who knows? You know, just depends on how long the show goes. If it goes long enough, they may be too old to try to go back.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
I know I did read something that Probst is looking at ending it after 25 years. Or season 50 or something like that.
I think after Probst had a whole year off, he's probably going to be rejuvenated and want to kick in another 8 or 10 years. So
I think so too.
I have always projected Legends being season 50. That sounds like the logical time. If you're going to end it, 50 would be the time to end it. And we talked tonight. I think Suri would be in that cast. You know, if she's still able to do
I
it.
just hope
She would be good.
Yeah.
Boston Rob, most likely.
Nah, I don't know.
I would love to see Poverty again.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's so hard for those. It's so hard for those players. It's so hard for those players now to get very far. But then you look back at last season and you look at it and you say, how the hell did they let Tony get to the end? But they did.
Really?
Well, because he made them lower their guards. Like you said, he was acting all goofy, you know, not like the Tony that we all know.
He changed his game. He just acted like he was out there. He was the class clown, goofing around, trying to climb a ladder and messing around with fish and stuff. It was like he wanted the attention off of him. He wanted to be looked at as kind of like the class clown. We ain't got to worry about him. And all of a sudden, as JJ would say, bam, there's another $1 million, Tony.
$2 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you think if they put him on Legends, he could win for a third time?
No.
If anybody could, he could.
I think that they would probably. I think they'd probably try to take him out as quickly as possible, especially knowing the type of player that he can be.
Yeah, I don't think he would win. I don't think Sandra would win. I don't think Rob would win. I kind of think if they do Legends, it may not be a whole lot of winners. It may be people like Rupert. If Ozzy would get out of porn, Ozzy.
Yeah, really.
Coach. I think it'd be a lot. Suri. I think it'd be a lot of players that got close and didn't win.
How about Malcolm?
Maybe Malcolm and Joe.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
not Joe again. Joe is so overrated.
All the attention about Nicole and Victor, but Joe and Sierra are pregnant too, right?
I also know Joe.
Yeah.
Also, from what I've seen, Joe is a bit of a nut
Yeah,
job.
I saw that.
So, I really think Legends. I really don't think they would bring back any winners. I think it would just be Legends that didn't win, still trying to get that first win. People like Rupert and Sari, maybe Terry Deeks would be another one.
I'd love to see Terry back after what happened last time.
I don't think she'd do it. But Stephanie LaGrossa.
Well, I would think Stephanie has to be considered a legend.
What about Colby Donaldson?
Yeah, Colby'd be good.
I don't think Colby would do it again. I think he's done. I think he's done with it.
He'd be good for TV, though.
Yeah, but I think he's done. There are certain players that you kind of know they're over it, they're done with it. And I hear that a lot of times when I'm talking. To players about coming on the podcast. I heard that from Sugar a week or two ago. I don't remember when it was. But she just said, Jim, I appreciate you asking me, but I'm over that show. I'm done with it, So
yeah, and plus Colby just seemed really turned off around the end of Heroes versus Villains. Like,
actually, you seem turned off. You seem turned off almost the entire time.
Yeah. Like he was basically almost looking at himself like, why the hell did I come back out here?
Yeah, but I mean, you think, and unfortunately Eddie dropped off. He said to tell everybody good night. You think about players that were really, really good, but they just didn't quite get there, and Rupert has to be in that conversation. Sari definitely has to be in that conversation.
Penner has to be in that conversation too.
Who?
Penner would have to be in there too if he wanted to come back on.
I know they've talked to him too. I know they've already talked to him.
I think Andrea has to be in that conversation.
Andrea too.
Andrew Savage. Yeah, Andrew Savage.
Andrea Bulk.
Yeah. Yeah, Andrea, Brenda. Fishbach, yeah. I don't know that Fish would do it again, but Rob Sestonino.
How about Amanda?
Yeah,
Amanda
she's got to be
Kimmel.
up there.
Yeah, Amanda Kimmel.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
But if Amanda was to be on there, Ozzy definitely cannot.
I really think
really.
I really think after Ozzy's life decisions, he's not going to be back. Can you imagine him being in the cast and then all you see the next day are TMZ posting videos and crap of him doing porn?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that would not be good for the show.
So, that
would be interesting though for us to come up with a cast for Legends with non-winners, people that did not win.
Hey, what do you think? What do you think about this idea of having maybe 25 or 30 people come back and maybe have it for like maybe 45 days, maybe a little bit longer than Survivor Outback. Maybe have it for maybe 45, maybe 50 days.
I know Australian Survivor does 50 days, 24 people.
Yeah.
I think you could do 30 people, 3 tribes of 10, or maybe even 33, 3 tribes of 11, and you could do the 50-day if they wanted to. I kind of think they want to stick to tradition on that part, though. They come up with twists and all kind of crazy crap, but they do still try to stick to one survivor, 39 days.
Yeah.
I can't think of how they could logistically do this, but what about one season? It'd be 3 tribes, 1 tribe of ex-survivors, 1 tribe of people who've been on Big Brother, and 1 who's been on Amazing Race.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. That's not going to happen.
I wish it would.
They won't do that. Yeah, they won't do that.
That's
they
one
won't
of
do
those that
that.
looks good on paper, but I don't know how they could logistically do it because Amazing Race, it'd be kind of like they'd each cancel each other out.
I mean, we talked about somebody tonight on this podcast that was in this cast. Whitney and Keith, they went on Amazing Race.
Yeah.
But you don't see survivors go on Big Brother. Now you see people from Big Brother like Hayden, Caleb. You see them go on Survivor, but Survivor tends not to do that cross casting thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in fact, when they were doing the that's what got me thinking about when they did the Survivor Amazing Race Big Brother cast on Amazing Race. One team that was in the running for it but didn't get picked was Caleb and Ty.
Oh, hey, listen, we've got under 45 seconds left. We'll be back next week. One podcast, maybe 2. We don't know yet. I'll take a few days off and kind of muzzle over it. So hope everybody enjoyed our guest tonight, enjoyed the podcast, and I hope to see you back next week. And stay safe out there.
Mm-hmm.
We will.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Yeah, again, I'm staying on. Remember when it went to like 4 a.m. that one day?
Yeah, and I just got the message that the show's over, but yet we're still on here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's weird. You never know. You just never know. Who else? Is there anybody else still on here with me and JB?
No, it's totally just you and JB.
No, who is that? That's Evan. That's Evan. Yeah.
That sounds like Evan.
I don't know. I don't know how this happens. I really don't. It's crazy. I mean, I remember when we used to have when they used to do this, we would have contests on who could stay on the longest without going to sleep. We'd make a game out of it, you know. And I actually heard, I still remember that night. I actually heard Cheryl snoring and mentioning my name, and she mentioned my name in her sleep. It was crazy. It was weird. Daniel Sykes was on. I think he came in second. I think it was Cheryl, him, and me. And then when it came down to me and Sykes, we made a deal where he left and I won. But it was.
Did the blog talk lady cut you off then or not?
No, they didn't cut us off. Even after as long as we were on, we ended up just connecting. They still didn't cut us off.
Huh. So heaven only knows how long you could have been on.
I know. Yeah, I mean, we may have done an all-nighter. It was almost an all-nighter anyway. I think it was like 4 a.m. When we finally said, come on, one of us got to win, you know, hang up. Hang up, Daniel. So, and I miss doing it again right now. I mean, I don't know how long it'll stay on. You never know. It's weird. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Steve's out doing his thank you post right now.
Right.
He shouldn't have hung up. I don't know why he couldn't. Tag Albert because he's in that group. Him and Coach Papa Bear all in that group. So,
hey, here's another name to think of. How about James Clement?
I don't think he'll be back because of circumstances he left under. You know, they caught him and Alexis.
Okay.
They caught him and Alexis sneaking into the crew tent and stealing cigarettes and Gatorade. And that's the season where they suddenly came up with he had such a bad finger injury he had to leave the game. That wasn't the case. They kicked him out is what really happened. And then they strongly suggested to the rest of the cast, you know this girl that's still here? She want to bring out cigarettes. She got Gatorade. And so then she gets voted out. So I don't think James will be back. I
mean, they did bring him back for Heroes versus Villains, though, after that.
Yeah, which season was it that he left with freaking idols everywhere? He had so many damn idols.
China. His very first season.
Yeah.
He had so many idols, he was hiding them everywhere. You know, he's part of the bad boy connection. You know,
yeah.
The bad boy connection was me and Russell, Sean Hance, Brandon Hance, Willie Hance, James Clement, Krista Stiegel from Big Brother, Shannon Elkins. that was the Bad Boy Alliance, where we all talked and hung out and shared stuff, and James was part of that. He's real big buddies with Russell.
How about Sarah Latina? Well, she has won already.
She's won before, though. Yeah, I'm trying to think of people that haven't won.
How about Spencer Bledsoe?
Spencer would be good. If Fishbach would do it, he'd be good. I just don't think he'll do it again. But Spencer would be good. And you know they have to cast some crazy folks. And as bad as I hate to say it, what about that crazy nut that was on the season with Spencer? What was her name? Cat, yeah.
Cass?
Yeah, but she did play the game. She really did. So
yes,
I don't like her, but she might fit. Is she a legend? I don't know. You know.
Trish Haggerty. She's kind of old. She's kind of old though.
Yeah. What about Natalie Bolton?
Yeah, sounds good.
What about Dara Johnson?
There you go.
Yeah. But we're not coming up with many guys. Gervis. What about bring Gervis back?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you could put together a really good cast without having winners. And I think that's what the plan is. To kind of go out on a high. You know, we brought these legends back that never won, and they got so close, and this is how we're going to end it, with one of them winning our final game. I think that's what they're planning. I mean, there's got to be a lot more names.
Zane.
They're not going to bring Jane back after what happened with her. You know, with her.
I mean, Zane.
Oh,
Zane Knight.
No, he's not no legend. I mean, he's funny as hell, and I love him to death, but he ain't no damn legend.
Yeah.
You're talking more when you're talking about Zane. You're talking first boot season. You know, who left first?
Yeah, exactly. How about Malcolm?
Else?
How about Malcolm?
We said Malcolm and Joe.
Okay.
What about Shane?
Ours.
Yeah.
They've asked him twice, and he wouldn't go back. So I don't know if he would do it or not. They've asked him twice.
Yeah, I know. If I remember right, wasn't he on the Cambodia ballot, Neil?
Yeah. Jeff Kent. I mean, any of the so-called athletes or whatever we've had on there. I mean, of course, can't be Uncle Cliffy now because he passed away, but maybe Jeff Kent. He was pretty good. I would have to. I mean, I think you have to throw. I think you have to throw Dawn's name in here. Dawn's been on twice and had 2 good seasons. What about Eric Reichenbach? Eric would be good.
Yeah.
And he's had some very unfortunate luck when he played. I mean, you give your idol up, you give your necklace up, and they vote you out. Next time you play, you get sick, you get injured. But he had 2 decent showings when he played. He did good both times. Who else?
Trying to think who else.
Jim Rice?
Yeah.
Maybe Albert, who we had on tonight. Maybe Albert.
Yeah, he'd be good.
Yeah.
Plus, he wants to come on back. Plus, he wants to come back on too.
Yeah, he did say that. He reluctantly got into that, but then he opened up and said, "Yeah, I'd do it."